Barr and Mike George. The Bruiser ripping on the bloody nose of Tyler. Barr and George battering each other. The referee...
The spotlight is on Volume 4 of Classic St. Louis Wrestling. Hello, I'm Larry Matisick. Lots of action on Volume 4, and listen to this tag team match coming up. King Kong Brody and Ken Patera against all-time great Pat O'Connor and the dynamic Rocky Johnson. Speaking of dynamic people, look who's here with me. Do you recognize, how could you not, one of the most popular and beloved figures in St. Louis wrestling history, Mickey Garagiola. Mickey, thanks for joining us.
Larry, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and I'll tell you, at my age, I'm ready for the hot tub.
Well, we'll see if we can get you a hot tub, but first, we're going to talk to Mickey in more depth later. Right now, let's go back to February 22nd, 1981. Ted DiBiase had established himself as a superstar because of his exploits in St. Louis, but then along came Big John Studd. You remember Big John Studd, Mickey?
I sure do.
Big John Studd against Ted DiBiase. Let's take a look at it.
The main event, a one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing from Los Angeles, California, weighing 323 pounds, Big John Studd. From Omaha, Nebraska, weighing 346 pounds, the Missouri State Champion, Ted DiBiase. Referee Lee Warren.
Big John Studd. He demanded this opportunity, and he has it now against the Missouri State Champion, Ted DiBiase. Studd, 6'9", 300...
People are going to find out how tough I am now.
Studd says, tell the people you're going to find out how tough I am now. All 323 pounds of him. Hey, you punk, says Studd to DiBiase. Studd has been at verbal war with promoter Sam Muchnick because he hasn't gotten an opportunity in main events yet. He says, you're forcing me into tag matches. You're trying to hide the big stars from me. The stars are running. The Studd misses. That hard smash, what would have been a hard smash if DiBiase had been there. Ted DiBiase, they're calling him the uncrowned world champion.
I told you he's afraid of me.
He's afraid of me, says Big John Studd.
That's why he's walking around the ring looking at Mr. Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, let's have him keep his attention on Mr. DiBiase instead of you and me, Mick.
Ah, you better believe that.
He is awesome, frightening, menacing. Studd forces DiBiase to the ropes. Lee Warren trying to break him up, and once more DiBiase sidesteps the punch of Big John Studd, and Studd glares at DiBiase. DiBiase clenches his fist. He says, if you want a box, I'll go that route. The Missouri State Champion, Ted DiBiase. The pressure is on him now after what happened with Harley Race. People like Big John Studd and many others after him, and DiBiase pound. Studd briefly in the hair. Lee Warren right on top of the situation. Up the headlock. That didn't work. DiBiase trying to force Studd forward so that his size isn't as big a difference. Studd trying to squeeze DiBiase. And there it is, the Missouri State title belt. It belongs to Ted DiBiase by virtue of victory over Ken Patera, as DiBiase is just manhandled by Studd, who charges in and misses with that charge. Drop kick by DiBiase, knocks Studd into the corner. DiBiase to the air. Oh, way up in the air, flying head scissors by DiBiase on Studd. Believe me, you have to fly to get up there to get Big John. He's 6'9".
Boy, it was like being on the arch that time.
Oh, and if he'd have missed, he would have landed out about Kings Highway in Lindell. He
Right
would have
at the
landed
front
in the
door.
lobby of the Chase Hotel.
Right there.
Right on top of Ed Merchant or somebody in the Chase Hotel. Look out, Ed. They're taken to the air here in the KPLR studio. It's Ted DiBiase and Big John Studd. You talk about great rivalries. Well, it looks like one is maybe nearing some sort of climax because Sam Muchnick has finally managed to land Dick Murdoch against King Kong Brody. Talk about big news and talk about a wild affair that will be. Murdoch's been complaining that Brody is hiding from him, running from him, hiding behind tag team partners like Andre the Giant and Dick the Bruiser. His complaint much the same as Big John Studd. But now Murdoch and Brody can settle it head to head, one-on-one. A main event, Murdoch and Brody, as Studd uses the tights to try and get the shoulders of DiBiase down. Can you imagine what a war that will be? Brody will go through a concrete wall to get at Dick Murdoch. He won't have to do it because they're both going to be inside that ring alone. Murdoch and Brody, this is it. Settle it now, boys. Dick Murdoch and King Kong Brody. It's DiBiase with the side headlock on Big John Studd. And you remember that Murdoch and Brody were once a very efficient tag team combination. But Murdoch, he's not the easiest guy in the world to live with. He's ended up with more enemies than friends. I can guarantee you that in tag team matches. But Brody is one enemy who won't go away. He won't be satisfied until he crushes Murdoch. And now the opportunity is at hand. Flying tackle. Oh, look out, Ted. Flying tackles don't work too well on Big John Studd. Back rolling cradle might. Try for a pin, and Studd pushes DiBiase away. Oh, DiBiase charged in, and Studd was waiting. Caught him with a blast to the stomach. DiBiase hurled to the ropes by Big John, and he bangs the elbow into the top of Ted DiBiase's head. DiBiase might be a little quicker than Studd, but I'll tell you that Studd can use his head too. He has good ring instincts. Don't forget, he was trained by Killer Kowalski. Studd lifting DiBiase to the air for a tremendous body slam. Ted DiBiase has been rattled by Big John Studd. He tries to line up the back, I guess. He comes up behind DiBiase and slams those meaty forearms into the back of DiBiase.
5 minutes have passed, 15 minutes left.
Studd lifts DiBiase high into the air for the atomic knee drop, slamming the tailbone into his own knee. This could be it for DiBiase, and oh, it was close. Big John Studd nearly polished off DiBiase right there. Studd is ready, and let me tell you, DiBiase may have the battle of his life on his hands right now against Big John. Look at those forearms and biceps on Big John. He's just huge. He's huge all over. I'll tell you, and he's in such good proportion. So well built, I don't think you realize the size of the man until you stand next to him, until you see those huge hands. But the only guy bigger is Andre the Giant. You can see right there, he really dwarfs Ted DiBiase. And Ted's about 6'4", 6'5", comes in around 245 pounds. But Big John Studd, oh, that's something else. He's huge. He's a mountain of a man. DiBiase bridging up. Oh, forearm smash by Studd. DiBiase keeps his balance. Not the second time, though. Studd pounds him back down with legal forearm smashes. Look at that fist clench right up against the face of DiBiase, pushing the cheek in, twisting the nose. Big John Studd. A little smile on his face. He knows that right now he's in command, that he's shaking Ted DiBiase, and Big John Studd. If he could beat DiBiase, as far as he's concerned, I guess, it's like beating the world champion. He saw that match between Race and DiBiase. And you know what happened between Race and DiBiase has a lot of other wrestlers even hotter on the trail of Race because they say, boy, he is ready for the picking now. People like Big John Studd, like Dick Murdoch, like King Kong Brody, like Dick the Bruiser, like the Funks, like Jack Briscoe, like Rocky Johnson, like so many more, like Ken Patera. Now, more than ever, the pressure's on Harley Race. Everybody wants a crack at Race. Dusty Rhodes is after him. I'll tell you, the pressure on Race is immense, but the pressure on Ted DiBiase is just as much. Especially right now, because he's in with one of the biggest and the meanest of them all, Big John Studd. There's a beautiful bridge by DiBiase. Oh, what a bridge against Studd by DiBiase, trying to pull the hands off his chin, trying to turn his way out. DiBiase slipping the head through. An elbow smash to the stomach. Another elbow smash to the stomach. Here comes DiBiase. Flying tackle. Down goes Studd. DiBiase managed to drop him. DiBiase ducks away. Oh, the drop kick missed. The drop kick by Ted DiBiase missed. Big John Studd outmaneuvered DiBiase. Flying elbow drop to the back by Big John. He covers DiBiase, count of 1. At 2, DiBiase gets away, but Studd's right back on top of him. Big John Studd in control against Ted DiBiase. DiBiase had gotten out of trouble for a second, but Studd, showing he's more than just size, managed to elude the drop kick, and DiBiase took a hard spill when he missed that drop kick. Studd Pulling back on DiBiase's head. Lee Warren checking. It's not a strangle. It's dangerously close, but it's not. You can see the pressure up underneath the jaw of DiBiase. DiBiase having the blood really cut off to his head, the way his head is twisted, and the way his neck is being squeezed by Big John Studd, a former collegiate basketball star. He's filled out quite a bit since those days, though. Constant weight work. He's a dedicated weightlifter. Almost every day he's in that gym pumping iron. Big John has the power, no question about that. DiBiase trying to force his way to his feet. Studd leaning on him, trying to wear DiBiase down. That's something Studd can do against almost any opponent. DiBiase to his feet, the crowd watching intently. DiBiase with a blast to the stomach. DiBiase and Studd pound on each other. DiBiase hits the ropes. Throws a forearm smash over the top, a slash to the throat. Studd gouges the eyes of Ted DiBiase. Studd whips DiBiase to the rope. Up, look out, jackknife, cradle. This could be it. But the shoulders are free, and Studd manages to lift those shoulders and at the same time bang his boot into the head of Ted DiBiase. Studd kicks DiBiase away, buying himself some time to get over onto his knees. Both men cautious. DiBiase knows he's in a battle. No room for error, no margin for mistake between Studd and DiBiase.
10 minutes have elapsed, 10 minutes left.
Cautiously, very cautiously, DiBiase reaches out. Studd daring him to lock hands. He does. Studd charges in with a knee lift to the stomach. An elbow smash to the neck, and DiBiase shaken again. Big John Studd, more than a handful so far for the Missouri State champion. Studd pounds on the back of Ted DiBiase. Remember, Studd's favorite is that hanging backbreaker. DiBiase pushes the ropes. Oh, he comes off backwards, that back exposed, and Studd bangs home the forearm to the lower back of Ted DiBiase. And I think the crowd here is starting to sense that DiBiase is really getting into trouble. Backbreaker, the backbreaker by Big John Studd. He's manhandling the Missouri champion. DiBiase got that shoulder up. He's in trouble. He's got to turn this thing around if he can, because Studd is slowly but surely wearing him down. Oh, the whip is reversed. Studd hits the corner. DiBiase, here's his chance. He hurls Studd across the ring, charges. Oh, and misses. He went right through the ropes and hit the steel ring post. DiBiase trying a flying tackle in the corner. Studd got out of the way, and DiBiase hit the ring post. Oh, he's in trouble now, if he's ever been in trouble in his life. Big John Studd got out of the way, and DiBiase hit the ring post. Studd grabs DiBiase, pulling him up onto the apron, suspending him backwards, and slams that forearm into Ted DiBiase. The Missouri State champion kicked off the apron by massive John Studd. The crowd boos at Big John. But DiBiase is in real trouble now. And I have to tell you, so far, Studd is backing up his word. DiBiase up on the apron. Studd grabs him there. Again, bends him backwards and slams that forearm into the chest. A knee into the back. DiBiase hung up on the ropes, and Studd battering DiBiase. Studd just battering DiBiase. Lee Warren trying to control Big John Studd. The count is 20, and Ted DiBiase may need it all. In fact, he may still be out there at 20. In that case, Big John Studd's going to be the winner. DiBiase up on his knees now. He's standing, he's holding that shoulder that hit the ring post. Studd right there. Look out. DiBiase grabs Studd's leg, and he slams Studd's leg down across the apron. Again, DiBiase slamming the leg of Studd over the apron. He's tying him up around that steel ring post, and he rams the knee of Big John Studd into the steel ring post. DiBiase now Studd in trouble. That knee always vulnerable no matter how big you are. And DiBiase tears into Studd. Down goes Big John. DiBiase, the leg snap, yanking out that hamstring. Big John Studd, the hamstring snapped by Ted DiBiase after his knee was slammed into the ring post. The body drop into the knee, and you know what DiBiase is thinking about here. He's thinking about the figure 4 leg lock. Again, DiBiase steps inside and snaps the leg. Now even the shins, the tendons coming down the front of the knee, aching on Big John Studd. He spins, going for the figure four, but he's kicked away and out of the ring by Big John Studd. Talk about power with one leg. Studd kicked DiBiase right out of the ring. Studd crawling through the rope. Big John Studd going out of the ring and after Ted DiBiase. He slams DiBiase into a chair. Big John Studd slamming DiBiase into a chair outside the ring. And again trying to ram him into another chair. Studd and DiBiase battling outside the ring. We have a Donnybrook. It's Studd and DiBiase outside the ring. Studd slammed headfirst into the apron. DiBiase grabbed the chair. DiBiase grabbed the chair. Oh, and he clobbers Studd over the head with the chair. Studd still won't quit. Both men outside the ring. The match is being stopped. They're outside the ring 20 seconds. They're trying to restore order. Studd slammed into the steps. Big John, look out! Studd has slammed DiBiase into the ring post and then into the press table. Studd battering DiBiase outside the ring. And I have to tell you, DiBiase, he's trying to go out after Studd. He's going with a chair out towards the dressing room. The referees, the guards, the police trying to restrain him. Lee Warren, both been counted out.
Been counted out. A draw.
Both counted out. We'll make it official and hear from Mickey Garagiola, who'll be going into the ring and give us an official call. What a Donnybrook. The Missouri State title belt will be returned to Ted DiBiase. But I'll tell you, that was a war. Here's Mickey.
Referee Lee Warren declares this match a draw.
Big John Studd said if he ever got a chance in St. Louis at some of the big stars alone, one-on-one, he would make them pay. And, John, I have to admit, you gave Ted DiBiase all he could handle.
Absolutely. You know, a couple weeks ago, a week ago, a month ago, I don't even remember when, but I saw Ted DiBiase beat Harley Race right in the Q Auditorium. Am I right or wrong? He beat him right there. Now, I want to wrestle Ted DiBiase. I met him right here in the ring. He gave me his best. He did everything he could to try to stop John Studd, but he came short. Whatever he did, I countered. When he tried to get tough, I got tougher. When he tried to get strong, I got stronger. Now I want another match with DiBiase. I don't want it. I'm demanding it.
Well, I have to admit that everybody said, well, Big John Studd, he's just big, but you proved different. You outmaneuvered him a couple of times on the drop kick and on that flying tackle he missed.
I'm big, I'm strong, but I know how to wrestle, and I know how to beat punks like DiBiase. But DiBiase, when I meet you again, if you have the guts to meet me in the ring, you've got to put up your Missouri State title, you understand, punk? I'm not just going to step in the ring for a good sweat. I want your title. I want something worth beating you for, punk.
And I have to know, Big John, that you're thinking, too, if you can take the Missouri title from DiBiase, that could mean Harley Race next.
Let's put it this way. There's no ifs, ands, or thans about it. I can beat DiBiase. And, brother, when I saw the licking that DiBiase gave Race, I know I can beat Harley Race. There's no doubt about it. I am the new NWA champion. It's just a matter of time, Harley Race. And the #1 contenders, Ted DiBiase. Well, Race, you can go to bed and sleep with peace because I am going to get rid of Ted DiBiase for you. You won't have to worry about DiBiase. But when you're sleeping, Harley Race, you're going to have a nightmare. You're going to dream about John Studd coming down your back, smashing you right in the middle of the ring. Could I beat him with the backbreaker? That's what I'm going to beat you with, DiBiase. It's the backbreaker right on my shoulders. What do you have to say about that?
Well, doesn't it worry you that DiBiase has plenty of weapons, too, like the figure four leg lock? He almost had you with that figure four.
Hey, everybody knows almost only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. Ted DiBiase went for it, and he ended up eating dirt on the floor with my big size 15 boots smashing his face.
So the challenge has been thrown down. You want DiBiase one more time.
There's no doubt about it. I want you, DiBiase. I want you. And I'm going to beat you. I'm going to be the new Missouri State champion. And then from there, I'm going to climb up another notch in the ladder. And I'm going to be the new heavyweight champion of the world. You're looking at the biggest, the meanest, and the best right here.
Big John Studd. So far, he's lived up to his words. Big John Studd. We'll be back with more in just one moment.
Mickey Garagiola, what do you remember about the Kelly twins?
They were always together.
Well, that's true. Could you tell them apart?
No, I can't. Not two of them.
No, that's good. The Kelly twins, you know, they got into a lot of trouble with Bulldog Bob Brown, Pat and Mike Kelly. Let's go back and take a look what happened when the Kelly twins met Bulldog Bob Brown and his nephew, Kerry Brown.
And you can see there, Kerry Brown, I believe he's bleeding. Yes, didn't see that. Kerry Brown's head has been opened up from the kicks of the Kelly twins, and Kerry Brown bleeding. Excellent camera work, and you can see as that cut was opened up by the Kelly twins. Kerry Brown in real trouble here, and Bulldog Bob Brown now realizing, too, that his nephew has been sliced open, has been beaten open in the forehead by the Kelly twin. Kerry thrown to that corner, now the blood pouring off the head of Kerry Brown. Kerry Brown, the blood pouring down his face, compliments of the Kelly twins. Kerry reverses the whip. Kerry sags to one knee, trying to get over and tag the Bulldog. The tag is made, and here comes Bulldog Bob Brown. Brown after Pat Kelly. He catches Mike Kelly. He grabs the Kelly twins and jams their heads together. Bulldog Bob Brown, realizing what the Kellys have done to his nephew, rams the Kellys together. Bulldog stomping on the head of Mike Kelly. A kick to the chest. Mike Kelly taking his lumps from Bulldog Bob Brown. Bulldog coming to the rescue of his nephew after Kerry had his head opened up by the Kelly twins. Atomic knee drop from the Bulldog. Tag made. And Kelly doesn't even have a chance to get into the ring on his own. He's yanked over the top rope by Bulldog Bob Brown. There you see Kerry Brown, the blood all over his face. And that's why the Bulldog is after the Kellys.
How about this? Bulldog Bob Brown's a hero now. Everybody's pulling for
People are
Bulldog.
cheering him. He's wrestling the same way, though, I'll guarantee you that. The Browns lift Kelly, a double body slam from Kerry and Bulldog Brown. Kerry covers Kelly. Kelly gets away and rushes over to make a tag. Warren trying to stop Kelly from getting into the ring. Backflip by Kerry Brown. Kerry hits the ropes. Giant knee drop misses. The flying knee drop missed. And the bloodied Kerry Brown missed. Look out, Kerry may get caught in that Italian, or rather the Irish clutch. The Irish clutch. Kelly putting it on, and Bulldog Brown. They're trying to break it up, but it's too late. Kerry Brown has submitted.
Welcome to Wrestling at the Chase, the opening bout, a one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Winnipeg, Canada, weighing 247 pounds, Bulldog Bob Brown. From Toronto, Canada, weighing 250 pounds, Pat Kelly. Referee Charles Veneta.
You know, there's no love lost between Bulldog Bob Brown and the Kelly twins, Pat and Mike. And today it's Bulldog Bob Brown against Pat Kelly head-to-head. Kelly and Brown tie up. Brown forces Kelly to the ropes. Then a little slap to the face from the Bulldog. Remember about a month ago here on Wrestling in the Chase, the Kellys were against Bulldog Bob Brown and his nephew Kerry, and Kerry Brown suffered a rather severe head cut at the hands of the Kellys. The Bulldog hasn't forgotten that. Charles Veneta, the referee, backs Bulldog Bob Brown up and balls him out for not breaking cleanly. Brown takes a long look at the referee, and he's ready to do battle with Kelly. Side headlock by Kelly on the Bulldog. Over the hip goes Bulldog Bob Brown. Veneta right on top of it, checking the shoulders of Bulldog Brown. Ask him, yells Kelly. Brown reaches up for the hair. Not a whole lot of hair on top of Kelly's head. Irishmen by way of Toronto, Canada are the Kelly twins. And a packed house here today at the KR TV studio. Believe me, they're hanging from the rafters, as usual, to see Wrestling at the Chase in person. Brown gets Kelly over on his shoulders, count of one. But that's about it. Then Kelly comes back up on top. Veneta gets Brown's hands off the tights of Kelly. Neither man shy about abusing the rule book, that's for sure. This could turn into a real Donnybrook. Side headlock by Pat Kelly on Bulldog Bob Brown. Ask him again, says Kelly. And Bulldog Bob Brown, his head forced forward, having some problems early in the match with Kelly. The Kelly twins, the only twins active in professional wrestling today, and I'll tell you, looking back through the annals of wrestling, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to find any other pair of twins active in wrestling. Certainly, Pat and Mike are really identical. They are so much alike, it's almost unbelievable. Count of one, Brown gets a shoulder up. Kelly trying to get over the shoulders of Bulldog Brown, use his weight against Brown and on the shoulders. You can see Bulldog trying to rough up the face, using his hand across the eyes, across the bridge of the nose of Kelly, trying to rough him up, get his vision a bit blurred. Now he reaches for the beard of Kelly. Venator stops that quickly. Brown cries out. Again, Venator checks the shoulders of Brown. Kelly balances over the top of Bulldog. Bulldog manages to lift that arm up. Kelly be happy to get a pin this way on Brown, but it's going to be very difficult. The Bulldog has a lot of good upper body power. Very strong. Shorter than many wrestlers, but that has never bothered the Bulldog. When it comes to competitiveness, when it comes to being scrappy, the Bulldog takes a back seat to no one. If he's cheered, if he's booed, it really doesn't matter to Bulldog Bob Brown. I don't think it matters to that gentleman, Kelly, either. Either one of the Kellys, for that matter. Winning is the name of the game. That's something the Kellys have been doing very well of late, especially in the Midwest, and so is Bulldog Bob Brown. This is a real good match right here. A good test between two tough, experienced grapplers. Brown reaching inside, trying to break the grip of Kelly. Come out with a wrist lock. Instead, he pulls underneath, and then a chop to the throat by Bulldog Brown. Brown a bit woozy, though, after being locked in that side headlock. He retreats to the corner to try and regain his composure. Kelly was cautious. He didn't rush in wildly, though. Side headlock by Brown on Kelly. Kelly tries to bear hug the Bulldog. He's squeezing Brown's chest and side. Really doesn't have enough leverage to do anything there. He realized it, gave up on that, and now puts pressure against the cheekbone and the jaw of Bulldog Brown. Kelly spins out of the wrist lock, but not for long. Brown punches Kelly, and then a side headlock on Kelly by Bulldog Bob Brown. I think the crowd is torn. They don't know who to root for here. They booed Kelly, they booed Brown. They're not just too sure who they're for. If anything, I would think the edge in fan support is probably with the Bulldog. Oh, hard slash to the throat, and again the side headlock. Down goes Kelly. Hard bounce by the Bulldog. Count of two on the shoulders of Kelly.
5 minutes have elapsed, 10 minutes left.
Bulldog Brown was complaining about the way that Charles Venator was counting. He thought it should have been faster. Venator says, I count the same every time. 1001, 1002, 1003. Of course, Charles Venator was right in the middle of that controversial match between the world heavyweight champion Harley Race and the Missouri State title holder Ted DiBiase. What a fantastic match it was. Wild, bizarre, spectacular, unbelievable. It all applies to that one. Oh, and Brown's leg jammed into the knee of Kelly, and you know that the Kellys are very adept with that Irish clutch leg hold, and maybe that's what Kelly's thinking about right now as he dished out some punishment to the left leg of Bulldog Brown. Flying mare by Kelly, and then he clamps the head and comes down with a figure four head scissors. The Kellys have a lot of different holds. They're very versatile. Speaking of that match between Race and DiBiase, well, I'll tell you, it's going to go down as a classic, something that people are going to talk about for years and years and years to come. What happened was each man took a fall. DiBiase was coming on strong. After he lost that first fall to the standing pile driver of Race, had his head split open, was bleeding. From that point on, it was all DiBiase. He won the second fall with the figure four leg lock. In the third fall, Race avoided a flying tackle as you watch Bulldog Brown come out with a double toe hold on Kelly. DiBiase tried the flying tackle. Race sidestepped, and DiBiase smashed into referee Charles Venator, knocked him right through the ropes, off the apron, and down to the concrete floor. Venator was down on the floor. Race tried to jump DiBiase, who was looking for the referee. DiBiase battled back. At that point, Race, almost in self-defense, grabbed DiBiase and threw him over the top rope. DiBiase came sailing over the highest straight and nearly landed on Venator, who was flat on his back on the floor, but had his eyes open and saw DiBiase being thrown over the top rope. Of course, at that point, Venator was still stunned. DiBiase started to crawl back into the ring. Referee Lee Warren, who'd been watching from up by the dressing room area, had come running to ringside to try and aid Venator. He came into the ring just about the point that Race tried a suplex on DiBiase. It backfired. DiBiase got behind Race, gave Race a back suplex, and put his shoulders on the mat. So naturally, Lee Warren, seeing Race's shoulders on the mat and not having seen Race throw DiBiase over the top rope, he was coming through the crowd at the time. Warren got down and counted to 3 on Harley Race. He hit 3 at almost exactly the moment Venator regained his footing outside the ring and called for the bell to disqualify Race for throwing DiBiase over the top rope. Of course, when the bell hit, nobody knew, and most people thought that DiBiase had pinned Race, which in fact he had. He had pinned Race. He had pinned the world champion, and that place exploded. DiBiase jumped for joy, and Race was an absolute shock. But when the referee Venator got into the ring, he pointed out he'd seen Race intentionally throw DiBiase over the top rope. He had no choice but to order the disqualification. And once there was a disqualification, what happened after that didn't matter. So DiBiase won the match. But Race, by a long-standing rule that's been in effect since 1930, Race kept the title because a champion cannot lose the title on a match decided by disqualification. A bitter blow for Ted DiBiase, but he admitted afterwards, and he was quick to admit it, he talked with Venator that the referee had made the right decision. He called it correctly. But you know, wrestling's just like football or basketball or any other sport. When you hear that whistle blow, the match isn't over. And even though there'd been that toss over the top rope, the bell never sounded. Race thought there was still a match going on. So did DiBiase. Race was going all out to finish DiBiase and pin him. It backfired. And only a freak, only a stroke of luck, Lady Luck was smiling on Harley Race. That's the only reason that Harley Race is still the world heavyweight champion, and that the gold belt does not belong to Ted DiBiase. And what a match it was, though. Up and down action from every second, start to finish. Fantastic match. And a lot of people right now are calling Ted DiBiase the uncrowned world champion. Charles Venator checking the shoulders of Pat Kelly. Bulldog Brown twisting that toe. That's a long explanation, but so much happened in the match. It just bears repeating, and so many people have been talking about it all over the country, all over the world. People from Japan were calling exactly what happened.
Well, Larry, it's a long explanation, but you take the fan out there. Once his eyes are on the ring, he's not watching whether Venator's outside the ring or not. So that's why the fans, they thought that DiBiase was the champ.
Sure, and actually, though, you can't take it away from Charles Venator. He made a tough call, but he made the right call. Kelly pulling back on the head of Bulldog Brown, trying to roll Brown's shoulders onto the mat.
10 minutes have expired, 5 minutes left.
You don't fail to count when I'm down, do you? Says Bulldog Bob Brown to referee Charles Venator. Venator had some sore ribs for a couple of days. He was really hit by DiBiase. It was just an accident, but those things can happen in a wrestling ring. 18 by 18 inside those ropes, and 2 big bruisers flying around the ring.
And without a doubt, getting back to the DiBiase Race, they had the top referee in there in Charles Venator, no doubt.
And you can't fault Lee Warren either. His intentions were good, coming to the ring to help
So
out.
true.
He called what he saw. He called what he saw, and what he saw was Ted DiBiase pinning the world champion. Kelly slashing his way on Bulldog Bob Brown, slashing his way out of a leg hold, and now he twists the Bulldog's head. Bulldog reaches up for the hair. Venator stops that, and Brown throws a kick at Venator, and Venator threatens to disqualify Bulldog Brown. That would not make the Bulldog too happy. You can bet on it. It's not a strangle. Brown again in the hair. Really, for 2 guys who are pretty hard on the rule book, been a lot of holds in this match. But of course, it goes to show that even the guys who are rough and tough, aren't afraid to throw punches and get a little out of line now and then. They know how to wrestle. They know the basics. Side headlock and a punch from Kelly to Bulldog. Down goes Brown. Kelly covers Brown, but he can't keep him down. Knee drop to the chest by Kelly. Count of 1. Brown shoves Kelly off. Kelly stomps on the Bulldog and then clamps the head once more. Pat Kelly trying to wear down Bulldog. Kelly leaning into it. He has good balance. You can see how that back leg is out, the right leg out, so he can really lean into the neck. And now he goes to cross arm grip across the neck of Bulldog Brown.
3 minutes left. 3 minutes.
Pat Kelly with the cross arm neck lock, really more than a headlock on Bulldog Bob Brown. Brown trying to struggle to his feet. Kelly really leaning in on him. Brown yells out of Venator, "Get away from me," when Venator asks him if he wants to quit. Bulldog doesn't quit.
I don't know why he wants Venator to get away from him. He should tell Kelly to get away from him.
Good point. Kelly's the guy giving him the trouble, and Kelly has looked pretty good in this match, let me tell you. He pounds on the stomach, then a chop to the neck, and Brown knocked into the ropes and out of the ring by Pat Kelly. Kelly taking command of the match, and Bulldog Bob Brown is in trouble. Slowly, Brown comes to his feet outside the ring. Kelly stomps on the back of Bulldog Bob Brown. Brown having problems, favoring his shoulder. You know, he's had some shoulder and neck problems over the last year anyhow. Brown crawls through the ropes, and there's Kelly right on top of him with a knee lift into the stomach. Hard forearm smash, and Brown gouges the eyes of Kelly. Bulldog Bob Brown goes to work on Kelly. A slash to the throat, a knee stomp underneath the chin of Kelly. Once more, Brown with that knee stomp underneath the chin of Kelly. Drop kick by the Bulldog, and that surprises the crowd. Bulldog Bob Brown grabs Kelly, pitches him outside the ring. Brown going outside on the apron. He's warned by Venator. Kelly starts to come up, and Brown stomps on his head. Again, Brown kicking Pat Kelly in the head before Venator can get Bulldog Brown back into the ring.
1 minute left. 1 minute.
Brown whips Kelly back into the ring. Bulldog Bob Brown lifts Kelly. The backbreaker. Brown trying to finish off Kelly. Count of 1. And at 2, Kelly shoves off Brown, and Brown again complains about the count. But definitely Kelly was not down long enough for the pin. Brown lifts Kelly again for the backbreaker. A second backbreaker by Bulldog Bob Brown. And at 2, Brown shoved off once more. Brown takes out his anger on Venator by chopping at Kelly. Brown lifts Kelly. Look out! Hey, small package, front rolling cradle by Kelly. Count of 1, 2. Oh, and Bulldog Bob Brown was nearly pinned right there by the small package hold of Pat Kelly. Kelly forces Brown into the corner. Forearm smash from Pat Kelly. A punch to the head. Brown reaches for the eyes. He grabs Kelly and slams Kelly's head into the top turnbuckle. Flying Beal by the Bulldog. Brown lifts Kelly. Double knee stomp. Kelly knocked down by Bulldog Brown. Here comes the leg drop. There is the leg drop, but it's too late because there's the bell. And the time limit has expired. This match between Bulldog Bob Brown and Pat Kelly ends in a 15-minute draw. Brown complaining about the time. The Venator saying it's not my fault. The time ran out. And that's it. It's a draw. And here's Mickey Garagiola.
With time running out, referee Charles Venator declares the match a draw.
Without question, one of Mickey Garagiola's favorites was Dick the Bruiser. Is that a correct statement? You liked the Bruiser, didn't you?
I really did. I think everybody that watched wrestling liked the Bruiser, but I tell you, he was a tough hombre.
Uh-huh.
I'll never forget that one night, Larry. I had my glasses on, you know, and I'm introducing the guy, and then all of a sudden here he comes towards me, and I say, oh, here I go now. And he just gets my glasses, the bell rings, he puts them on, goes out there, and wham, bang, slam, bang, 1, 2, 3. He wins, he comes over, puts the glasses back on, he says, how's that? Now that's something, you can't forget a guy like Dick the Bruiser.
You can't forget Dick the Bruiser. Let's go back to November 9th, 1980 and see a Wrestling at the Chase edition that was headlined by the Bruiser, and then we're going to take a look at the Bruiser in a battle royal.
Welcome to Wrestling at the Chase, the opening bout, a 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Yokohama, Japan, weighing 236 pounds, Akio Sato. From Davenport, Iowa, weighing 235 pounds, Max Blue. Referee Lee Warren.
Max Blue faces Akio Sato, the curtain raiser on Wrestling at the Chase today. They tie up Sato, pulling on the neck of Blue. Blue forces Sato to the ropes, and referee Lee Warren is happy to get a clean break from Max Blue. Blue's a pretty good fundamental wrestler. He's pretty solid. He knows the takedowns, he escapes. He can give Sato some trouble. There's a good fireman's carry by Max Blue. And it finishes with an arm bar. Now a double wrist lock by Max Blue on Sato. Sato tripped down and over the hip once more by Max Blue. A couple of good early moves by Max Blue against Akio Sato. Count of 1 by the referee on Sato. Sato forces his way up. Still Blue with the double wrist lock, however. Sato moves behind Blue, but he can't pull the arm loose. Now Sato trying to trip Blue off balance, spreading those legs of Blue. Blue having trouble. He has to give up the double wrist lock. Nice subtle move by Akio Sato. Front face lock doesn't last long. Blue came out with the arm. Sato comes up with the head. Neither man ends up with anything. Sato and Blue. Sato had a little trouble, but finally was able to escape that double wrist lock. Once more they lock up. Sato hooking the arm and the head. Now Sato maybe trying to pull both arms back. Blue leans into him in case Sato has any ideas of going for a type of suplex perhaps. Blue gets a hold of Sato's leg. And down goes Akio Sato. Max Blue, really the aggressor in the opening moments as Blue scissors the ankle of Sato. Lee Warren checking the throat of Max Blue, and it's very open. No choke there. Sato, though, trying to put pressure against the chin of Blue and pull that head back. Sato tried to pull the ankle away from Max Blue. Couldn't do it, though, because Blue had that ankle securely scissored. Now Sato pulls the head of Blue. Rolls on top of Blue, and Sato's leg comes free. He tries to cover Max Blue, who thrashes about to keep those shoulders up. Count of 1. Blue kicks Sato off. Side headlock by Max Blue. Max Blue definitely the aggressor in the opening minutes of the match. Blue squeezing the head of Sato. Pulling back on that head, trying to stretch out the neck. Sato tells Lee Warren that Sato will not give up. There goes Akio Sato down over the hip. And Akio's having a lot of trouble with Max Blue. Quick count of 2 on Blue, who was rolled onto his shoulders. But Sato couldn't keep Blue on those shoulders long enough to get the pin. Really not a whole lot of leverage there, but you never know when a quick pin could come up. A wrestler with the side headlock may not realize his shoulders are down. He may simply be trapped with the balance against him, the weight of his hips over his shoulders. It's worth trying, that's for sure. And while Blue was talking to the referee, Sato slipped that head out and came up with a hammerlock. Good move by Akio Sato, very alert. And Sato now with his first sustained hold on Max Blue. The hammerlock. Blue almost comes up, but then Akio, with good use of leverage, pulls him back down. Once more, Blue struggles to a standing position and goes to the ropes. Well, that's the easy way out, and Sato breaks cleanly. Sato waits for Blue to come toward him, and then Blue outmaneuvers Sato, comes up behind him and throws a punch into the kidney region. Lee Warren tells Blue to keep the hand open. Blue claims it was with a forearm, but you had a good look at it, and Sato a bit upset, a bit perturbed with Blue. It looked as though it were going to be a scientific test between Sato and Blue until that moment. A knee lift to the chest from Max Blue. Sato has to catch his breath. An uppercut with the forearm by Sato. Another uppercut with the forearm by Sato, a very legal blow. Flying mare by Akio, and then he clamps the head of Max Blue. It's not a chokehold. Nor is it the sleeper, although he's in a position where Akio could be able to go for a sleeper possibly. Perhaps Akio has been unable to master that at this point in his career. Blue pulling those arms apart. Sato felt the head slip away. Blue reaches up for the hair. The referee slaps the hand away. Akio Sato ends up with an armbar on Max Blue.
5 minutes have elapsed, 5 minutes left.
Max Blue down to one knee. Sato now bending that wrist. He has good leverage on this hold. Locks that arm securely. Blue steps backward. And throws a punch right into the midsection of Akio Sato. There's a knee to the stomach. A smash to the head by Max Blue. Blue now roughing up Akio Sato. And if Blue's strategy was to lure Sato into thinking it was a scientific match and then open up with the rough stuff, it seems to be working very well. Flying head scissors by Max Blue. Very versatile outing by Blue. Arm drag by Sato. Good move by Sato, and I think Sato has really been thrown off balance by Max Blue. First it was good fundamental wrestling, then some rough stuff. Then Blue took to the air with a drop kick and a flying head scissors, but now Sato has kept his cool, and the arm drag has given Sato the advantage, at least for the moment. But Blue has obviously given this match a lot of thought, and he has provided difficulty for Sato. Sato kicked away by Max Blue. Sato pushed to the corner. Blue pounds on the stomach. Let him off the ropes, cautions Lee Warren. A kick to the stomach by Blue. Knee lift by Max Blue. Sato appears a bit stunned at this point. A punch right to the forehead from Blue. Scientific Wrestling's taking a pounding right now from Max. Sato staggers to his feet. Blue is a bit cautious, but Sato hooks the head with a front face lock. Reaches underneath, and I do believe Mr. Sato's fist found a home in the cheek of Max Blue. Knee lift by Sato, catching Blue on the shoulder and knocking him against the bottom rope. Flying mare.
3 minutes left, 3 minutes.
A hard body drop across the neck by Sato, and that one really hurt Blue. Now it's Blue's groggy. A chop to the throat levels Max Blue. Sato opening up now. Blue whip to the ropes. Off he comes. Sato catches him with a side saddle suplex. The side saddle suplex by Akio Sato, and that means a victory. Although I'll tell you that body drop across the neck certainly played an important role for Akio Sato, but then the side saddle suplex really finished off Max Blue, but still it was an impressive outing by Blue. He gave Akio Sato a lot of trouble. Now let's hear from ring announcer Mickey Garagiola.
In 7 minutes and 26 seconds with side suplex, the winner, Akio Sato. The main event, an Australian tag team match, one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing from St. Joseph, Missouri, weighing 252 pounds, Mike George. From Nashville, Tennessee, weighing 313 pounds, Buzz Tyler. From Portland, Oregon, weighing 229 pounds, Jesse Barr. And from Reno, Nevada, weighing 253 pounds, Dick the Bruiser. Referee Joe Tangaro and Lee Warren.
Can you imagine how Jesse Barr feels right now? His partner is none other than Dick the Bruiser, and how's that for a surprise? Sam Muchnick finding time in the busy schedule of the Bruiser, so it's the Bruiser and Jesse Barr against 313-pound Buzz Tyler and Mike George. The Bruiser takes a quick look at Mike George, and he's squared off with a big, big man. The Bruiser almost daring George to do something from behind. Mike George telling Buzz Tyler something. Tyler outweighing the Bruiser by about 60 pounds. The Bruiser twists the arm of big Buzz Tyler. Tyler says, hey, the Bruiser looked at the flower on the trunks of Tyler. I think he wanted to rip that flower right off the tights of Buzz Tyler. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get that flower embroidered on the tights of Buzz Tyler and rip off the flower. Probably reminds him of Nature Boy Ric Flair. Of course, Flair has butterflies embroidered on some of his tights. And what a Donnybrook that will be when it's Dick the Bruiser against Nature Boy Ric Flair in a lumberjack match. Other wrestlers from the card surrounding the ring. And if either the Bruiser or Flair go outside, they'll be pitched right back in. That came, of course, at the request of Dick the Bruiser after his last battle against Ric Flair. Ended in a draw because both men were counted out outside the ring. Flair dove out of the ring a few times, especially right at the finish. Finally, the Bruiser ran out after him. The Bruiser says, "Give me a knee" to Jesse Barr. And Barr's knee is up there for the head of Mike George. Here's young Jesse Barr, the forearm smash at the urging of Dick the Bruiser. Barr twisting the arm of George. An elbow smash to the shoulder of Mike George. George pulled the hair of Barr to yank him down. Tag is made to Buzz Tyler. Tyler with a kick to the back of Barr. Tyler slamming that forearm into the back of Jesse Barr and spinning the arm around. What a pair of main events that is coming up. The lumberjack match, of course, between Dick the Bruiser and Nature Boy Ric Flair, plus Ken Patera defending the Missouri State title against Ted DiBiase. DiBiase has been hot, especially since that tremendous stalemate DiBiase had against Patera when the time limit ran out in that match. Patera was trapped in the figure 4 leg lock. DiBiase felt that if there had been another 30 seconds or so in the match, Patera would have had to give up or suffer severe damage to the knee. But Patera did not quit. He retained the Missouri State title, and DiBiase has been blazing ever since, in particular that tremendous win against King Kong Brody, a man who had never been pinned in St. Louis by anyone other than the world champion until Ted DiBiase turned the trick. Brody, a bloody mess after a brawl outside the ring with DiBiase, and then DiBiase trapped Brody with a front rolling cradle. Look at that bridge by Jesse Barr. Beautiful bridge by Barr, and it allows him to escape the wrist lock and come up with a hammer lock on Mike George. Splendid work by Jesse Barr. Mike George caught in the hammerlock of Jesse Barr. Barr trying to get that little something extra with that hammerlock to punish Mike George. Yanking out the arm, jerking the tendons, but George grabs the hair of Barr and slams Barr head first into the top turnbuckle. Then George makes sure that Barr stays in that corner for Buzz Tyler. Tyler lifts Barr. Body slam by the 313-pounder. Flying elbow drop by Tyler. Here comes the Bruiser. And Tyler's pulled off a Barr. Barr pitched into the corner where Mike George's knee is up. Mike George, look at Tyler, take a look at the Bruiser, and the Bruiser says anytime. Barr pitched to the ropes. Oh, Jesse Barr nails George with a kick and then tags the Bruiser. The Bruiser bangs a fist to the head of Mike George. There's the knee of Jesse Barr again. George grabs Barr. The Bruiser rams George's head into Jesse Barr. And now the Bruiser pats Jesse Barr on the head. Well, I had to use it when I found the spot. Jesse Barr groggy, but so's Mike George. The Bruiser, he'll use anything, including his own partner, as a battering ram. George pitched into the buckles. And there's the stomach claw. The stomach claw by Dick the Bruiser on Mike George. George doubled up by the Bruiser's stomach claw.
5 minutes have elapsed, 15 minutes left.
Mike George gouges the eyes of the Bruiser. A punch to the head from Mike George. Another blast to the head from George. Mike George, a big opportunity for him right here as he and Tyler against Barr and the Bruiser. Anybody who comes up with any kind of victory over the Bruiser really has something to brag about. The Bruiser muscling up, and he won't let George pitch his head to the top turnbuckle. But George is rammed into that buckle. The Bruiser grabs Mike George's curly hair and slams that head into the buckle once more. The Bruiser goes for the pin. Mike George shoves the Bruiser off. And then George tags Buzz Tyler. The Bruiser's more than anxious and ready. Tyler, he is big. He almost dwarfs the Bruiser. And now Tyler complaining about the Bruiser trying to rip his tights. Just think what would happen if the Bruiser got a hold of Ric Flair's one of his robes. He'd rip that thing to smithereens. Of course, according to Ric Flair, the Bruiser doesn't have the kind of class needed to wear a robe like Ric Flair does. Look at the Bruiser staring into the eyes of Buzz Tyler as they test strength. A kick to the stomach. Another kick to the midsection from Dick the Bruiser. The world's most dangerous wrestler. Down goes Tyler. Tyler squirms about, tries to come up. The Bruiser has tremendous power. You ought to see him on a bench press. Tyler. The Bruiser says to Jesse Barr, "I'm bringing him to you, kid." And that's why he brought him here. That's great, says the Bruiser. Well, Jesse Barr has the amateur credentials, he has the fundamentals, and Dick the Bruiser is going to teach him about a few other things that'll come in handy in professional wrestling wars. Jesse Barr reaches over the Bruiser and belts Tyler. Tyler having a fit, but as long as the Bruiser has those hands locked, there's not a whole lot Tyler can do. Tag is made to Jesse Barr, and the Bruiser leaves that wrist lock right there for Jesse. Barr giving away more than 80 pounds, almost 90 pounds to Tyler. Down goes Buzz Tyler. And that shows that 90 pounds is not all that big a difference if you know how to handle leverage, how to handle balance, as Jesse Barr did in that instance. It's a double wrist lock now by Barr on Buzz Tyler. Tyler grabs the tights, pulls Barr to the corner. Here comes Mike George, and oh, Tyler hanging on to Barr. Barr, no way to defend himself, but he battles back gamely. Down goes Jesse Barr after a punch to the head, and the Bruiser stalks that apron restlessly. Mike George on the attack against Jesse Barr. Body slam from George, a hard body slam. That one stung. Knee drop to the chest, trying to knock the wind out of Barr. Here comes the Bruiser. Barr didn't need the help, but the Bruiser was there just in case. And now the Bruiser, Lee Warren, nearly square off, but the Bruiser keeps his cool and goes out of the ring at Warren's suggestion.
I tell you, it's not like the Bruiser. We've gone almost 8.5 minutes, and he has been so calm, cool, collected.
Well, he's trying to help the youngster Jesse Barr handle himself inside that ring. He's given him advice. He's tried to involve him in the offense of the match. And Barr's done quite well, but right now he's in trouble, and Dick the Bruiser knows it. Barr in trouble, trying to get over to make that tag, but Buzz Tyler doesn't let him get there. A punch right to the jaw by Tyler. That size of Tyler and of Mike George paying off. Barr trying to go between the legs, but Tyler stopped him by grabbing the tights, and then he tags Mike George, who kicks Jesse Barr in the ribs. The Bruiser reaching over for the tag that never came, not that time. Knee lift by George, puts Jesse Barr down. Good move by Jesse Barr, nice trip, but it's not quite enough. The Bruiser can't quite get to the tag with Jesse Barr. Here comes Buzz Tyler. Tyler and George tagging regularly and quickly right now. Barr trapped in that ring. He has not been able to get over to the Bruiser for the last few minutes. Another punch, or is it a chop? Was it a chop to the throat by Buzz Tyler? Barr is yanked over by Tyler. Tyler covers Barr. Here comes the Bruiser again. No chance at a pin. And the Bruiser pounds on the head of Buzz Tyler. Here comes George after the Bruiser. George and Tyler pounding on the Bruiser.
10 minutes have elapsed, 10 minutes left.
The Bruiser having come to Jesse Barr's rescue. Barr wants to make a tag, but the Bruiser wasn't there. Now the Bruiser shoves Barr at Tyler, but Barr is still a little bit groggy, and he wasn't able to fight back, although he's trying with a lot of spunk and a lot of spirit to get over to the Bruiser. Jesse Barr still caught in that ring. He's giving it his best shot, but he's been double teamed a lot by two bigger men. George lifts Barr. Greco-Roman back body drop. That could be it. That could spell the finish for Jesse Barr. George covers Barr. Here comes the Bruiser. Barr pitches George off without help, but the Bruiser again was there if he was needed. Jesse Barr taking a battering now from Tyler and George. The crowd yells at Barr, make the tag. He tries to get to the Bruiser, but Tyler cuts him off just short. Side saddle suplex by Buzz Tyler. He goes for the pin. There's the Bruiser to the rescue again. He knocks Tyler off of Barr before the referees chase the Bruiser to the corner. Mike George with that knee up. And Jesse Barr took it right in the head. Barr is in trouble. No doubt about that now. Jesse Barr needs a tag. He's tried with everything he's got, with all the determination in the world. But I'll tell you, two guys like George and Tyler are pretty hard to handle for anyone. Barr trying to get to the bruiser. Can't make it again. George lifts Barr into the air and then just slams him down on his back. A type of backbreaker, a type of body slam by George. Barr lifted up by Mike George, and Lee Warren chases Dick the Bruiser back to his corner. Barr's head slammed into the mat. Tag made to Tyler. George cuts off Barr so he can't get to the Bruiser, and then Tyler flails away at Barr from behind. It's like a volcano in this corner. You can just see the Bruiser seething, steaming, ready to explode. But he can't get the chance to make that tag with his partner, Jesse Barr. Barr slammed into the turnbuckle again by Tyler. Tyler wants another tag. The Bruiser steps into the ring. He charges into that corner, trying to help his partner, trying to keep George off of Barr. The Bruiser pounds on George. Tyler pushed into the corner by Jesse Barr. Both men in headlocks. And George rammed headfirst into the head of Buzz Tyler. Make the tag, yells the Bruiser. Barr takes time for a drop kick. And then Barr charges over and tags the Bruiser. He's in there legally now. Dick the Bruiser goes to the stomach on Mike George, pounding away with short jabs. George tags Buzz Tyler. The Bruiser there to grab Tyler. George stays in that ring too. They try to double team the Bruiser. Jesse Barr catches George with a shot in the midsection. The Bruiser yells at Jesse Barr, grab George. Give him a taste of their own medicine, yells the Bruiser. He grabs Tyler by the hair. George grabs by the hair again. George and Tyler slam together as Dick the Bruiser takes command of that ring. He's the king of the hill right now. Outside goes Buzz Tyler. The Bruiser going out after him. He grabs Tyler and slams him into the ring steps. The Bruiser again slamming Tyler into the steps. Dick the Bruiser, look out, he's coming our way. Buzz Tyler being slammed into the press table by Dick the Bruiser. Jesse Barr cautions the Bruiser to watch out for the count. The Bruiser shoves Buzz Tyler into the ring. We have blood splattered all over our table here at ringside. Apparently Buzz Tyler has suffered some sort of cut, either his nose or his mouth. There's blood all over the table here at ringside, and now blood pouring from the nose of Buzz Tyler. The Bruiser has opened up the nose of Tyler when he slammed him into the press table. Jesse Barr's knees up there when the Bruiser wants it, and the Bruiser mounts the ropes. The Bruiser crawling up for the atomic drop. The crowd screams, they're standing, and the Bruiser scores with the atomic drop. Dick the Bruiser forces down the shoulders of Buzz Tyler. The count of 1, 2, 3, that's it. Dick the Bruiser and Jesse Barr went from Buzz Tyler and Mike George. The Bruiser ripping on the bloody nose of Tyler. Barr and George battering each other. The referee's trying to restore some order. Tyler, the bloody Buzz Tyler, knocked out of the ring. Mike George battering Jesse Barr, and then the Bruiser chases Mike George out. Buzz Tyler, a bloody mess. Compliments of Dick the Bruiser as Mike George helps his partner to the dressing room. It's the Bruiser and Jesse Barr. After the atomic drop of Dick the Bruiser, they're the winners, and here's Mickey.
In 14 minutes and 59 seconds, the winner of the bout, Jesse Barr and Dick the Bruiser. A special attraction, a one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Portland, Oregon, weighing 266 pounds, the Missouri State Champion, Ken Patera. From Amarillo, Texas, weighing 238 pounds, Tommy Sharp.
Ken Patera, maybe the world's strongest man, is chased back by Tommy Sharp, who's obviously anxious for this big opportunity against the Missouri State Champion. You're going to get it, boy, says Ken Patera to Tommy Sharp. He's threatening to take a swat at Sharp with the Missouri title belt. One of the most valuable prizes in wrestling, the Missouri State Championship. It belongs to Ken Patera now. He took it away from Kevin Von Erich. He's going to be defending it against Ted DiBiase, the man who nearly ripped it from the grasp of Ken Patera not too long ago. Patera goes outside the ring to remove the rest of his warm-up gear. Ken Patera, what a powerhouse. 266 pounds of muscle. But there's a brain in there with it. And that is what makes him dangerous, the brain that goes along with that muscle. He's a good ring general. You'll get yours, boy, says Ken Patera. The crowd yelling about DiBiase, and that little barb struck home. Tommy Sharp, obviously geared to fever pitch. Patera knows it. And he's going to let Sharp get anxious. Let Sharp charge it. Maybe he'll make a mistake. Although Patera quickly with that side headlock. He's rolled on his shoulders, but not for long. Joe Tangaro, the referee, was right there to make a count if it had been necessary. Front face lock by Patera on Tommy Sharp. Over the top goes Sharp. Patera showing you some good basic moves right there. I noticed that he's wearing a knee brace. He had a bad knee, and I'll tell you, when he was trapped in that figure four leg lock of Ted DiBiase for such a long period of time, did not help matters. And I understand that Patera's been having knee problems ever since that match with DiBiase. And a lot of that has to be because of the figure four leg lock that DiBiase had Patera trapped in during the entire last minute of the draw. Sharp going for the leg. You've got to believe that when DiBiase gets another crack at the Missouri title, he's going to attack that leg. He's going for the knee again. You have to believe that. Sharp with a standing leg split, and Patera lifted right off the mat. His hips are by the pressure from that standing leg split of Tommy Sharp. Good balance there by Tommy Sharp as he twists the ankle of Patera. Sharp turning that leg around. Patera crying out. And there's the knee, the damaged knee. And how much of that damage is the compliments of Ted DiBiase? Well, only Patera could tell you, and I don't think he would admit it anyway. He's tough. Speaking of knees, I know Ken was very sorry to hear about the knee injury his good friend Tom Stock, a fellow weightlifter who's been after many of Patera's records. Stock suffered a bad knee injury, and Ken Patera was very sorry to hear that. He knows how troublesome knees can be for a wrestler or a lifter. Ken Patera, maybe the world's strongest man. You could fill a dictionary with all of the different records that Ken Patera has in the weightlifting world, all the medals, all the honors that he's won. And the biggest honor of all, in wrestling, he's after the World Heavyweight Championship. As long as he has this Missouri State title, he's one leg up toward getting a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship. Sharp slammed head first into the buckle by Patera. Patera lifts Sharp, manhandling him, slams him backwards. A 238-pounder is pitched around with ease by Patera. Sharp comes off the rope. Patera catches him with the bear hug. The bear hug by Ken Patera, squeezing Tommy Sharp. The powerful Patera squeezing Sharp, trying to wring out a submission from Sharp. If anybody can do it, it's Ken Patera. Rest assured of that. Sharp hanging in there, not giving up. Now he's trying to find room to squeeze his hand in there. If he can get that arm down inside the elbow, he might be able to break the bear hug. He couldn't get it through. He couldn't get it through those burly arms of Patera. Now Sharp pulls the hair and pops the ears of Patera. A forearm smash to the jaw, knee lift from Patera. Patera limping, favoring that leg. A knee to the back from Ken Patera. Even with that gimpy knee, Patera's power can still get him through a lot of tight spots. That forearm's like a sledgehammer when it scores. Right into the spine, right into the lower back. Don't tell me what to do, yells Patera at Joe Tangaro, who cautioned Patera about pulling the tights. The forearm itself is perfectly legal, no problem there. Patera lifts Sharp, high, look at how he's lifting him and just pitches him away. Just throwing him away. Flying elbow drop.
5 minutes of elapsed, 5 minutes left.
Count of 2, and Sharp pushes off Patera. A cut has been opened up across the bridge of the nose of Tommy Sharp. Sharp bleeding. Sharp pitched to the rope by Patera. Oh, he clotheslined Sharp. Patera nearly taking off Tommy Sharp's head, catching him with that forearm right to the throat. Sharp staggered his feet, but look at Patera. He circles behind. There's the full Nelson, and that sets him up for the swinging neck breaker or the full Nelson. He's just going to wring it right out of Sharp, forcing that head down. The full Nelson with all the power, all the muscle in the world right behind it. Patera jamming that neck down, and Sharp submits. Missouri state champion Ken Patera with the full Nelson. The full Nelson proving the difference, and Patera's might. What a weapon. What a weapon that power is. Let's hear from Mickey.
In 5 minutes and 45 seconds, the full Nelson. The winner, Missouri State champion Ken Patera.
And there is always excitement during a Wrestle Royal, especially when the bruiser is involved. Tyler lines it Brown. Look out! There goes Tyler! At 5:14, at 5:14, Buzz Tyler is eliminated. Kerry Brown did the honors, ducking a punch, and Tyler's eliminated. Give Kerry Brown all sorts of credit for that. After the beating he took against Tyler, he gets some revenge right there as Tyler is pitched out of the ring. It's now a 4-man Wrestle Royal. Takachio with a chop to the head of the bruiser. Look out! Kerry Brown's pitched out. In 5:42, Kerry Brown is eliminated. It's now the bruiser with Mike George and Takachio. The curfew expiring. It's down to a 3-man Wrestle Royal, and Kerry Brown has been injured in that fall over the top rope. The bruiser slams the head of George and Takachio together. Some of the other wrestlers still watching from ringside. We see Tommy Sharp still here watching the action. George pounding on the back of the bruiser. The bruiser outnumbered now 2 against 1. Takachio and George. Takachio chopping on the head of Dick the Bruiser. They'd love to get the bruiser out of here.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
2 minutes remaining, and Mike George took a chop from Takachio. Look at the bruiser. Look what he sees. They're both going out. That's it, the bruiser. So Takachio and George. And Dick the Bruiser wins the Wrestle Royal, bringing this crowd to its feet. The crowd brought to its feet as Dick the Bruiser has won the 8-man Wrestle Royal.
Mickey Garagiola was doing wrestling at the Chase before I was. So that means, Mickey, you must be, what, 102, 103 years old now?
104.
104. You look good.
Yeah, you don't look too bad yourself. You know that for a guy your age?
Oh, don't make us feel bad. How did
No,
you
I'm
get into
young.
How did
I'm
you
young.
get into wrestling? Tell us how you started on wrestling at the Chase.
I used to wait on Sam Muchnick at Rogeri's, and then Sam one day comes in and he's sitting there and he looks at me and he says, "How about being my ring announcer?" And I said, "Ring announcer?" I said, "I never get a ring announcer. What are you talking about, Sam?" He said, "I wouldn't know what to do." He said, "Just do what you're doing now. Just get out there and say what you want to say and insult the wrestler." I said, "No." He said, "Well, you come on down." So I went down to the Chase that one day, and he gives me these cards, you know, and I'm there, 100, 200 pounds from Keokuk, Iowa, so-and-so, you know, and I'm shaking, you know, a little bit. But then as time went on, and I had some good teachers behind me, backing me up, you know, George Abel, who's
Johnny
the other-
Curley, Johnny Curley, Eddie Gromacki.
Then there was that skinny kid, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Tall, skinny kid,
Yeah.
nothing to look at.
Had more hair.
Yeah. Well, he lived over in the, across the river. He helped me a lot. And all of a sudden, I think I did it for what? From 1959,
69.
69. I'll pick up 10 more years someplace else. Up until 80,
83.
83.
You know what they
See what
forget?
I mean, I got a backup guy here. He's my teacher.
Well, I have to say, too, what a lot of people don't remember, Ruggieri's at the time was a hangout for the sports people in St. Louis.
That was it.
And you had a few moments there, too. I remember Vern Gagne had come into St. Louis. Tell me the story
yes,
about
yes.
Vern Gagne and Muscles. Explain who Muscles is.
Muscles was one of our waiters. Soaking wet, he would weigh about 130 pounds. He looked like a straight string bean. And he told Gagne was there, and it's about sleeper hole. And he told Gagne, "I don't believe it. you can't put a sleeper on a person. He says, okay. So it happened that Joe had a program on Channel 2, I believe it was, and he invited Gagne and Larry over there. And a priest friend of ours came along with us, you know. And then when we got there, Gagne puts this sleeper hole on Larry. Well, if you put your sleeper
Larry was Muscles, not Larry Meat. Larry Muscle. That's his real
well,
name.
he's
Muscle.
built something like you.
Well, yeah.
Tall, skinny.
But that's Muscles.
That's Muscles.
And now he's got the sleeper on him?
He puts a sleeper on him, and Larry is laying there on the floor. And I'm telling you, boy, he's ready for the last rites. Good thing we had the priest there. You know, he's ready to go. And next thing you know, Sam, bring him to. So Burns slaps him a couple of times, and he comes out of it, and I've got to remember, there's a priest on he hollers out, Jesus Christ. And I said, oh my God, the priest is there. And that, he made a believer Larry. The sleeper hole does work.
The sleeper hole does work, as Pat O'Connor showed us many times later, too.
Good on you.
Well, yeah, but who was the best tipper of all the wrestlers?
Well, see, Connor wasn't. Kaniski was.
Kaniski was a good tipper.
Kaniski was good. There wasn't many of those guys. They were
Yeah,
good.
they're on the road.
Well, they had the bad. Yeah, they're on the road. They had the bad hands. Too many body slams. Too many arm hocks. And what the hell?
We mentioned Gene Kaniski, and you have a tremendous history with Gene Kaniski. Your brother Joe had history with him all the way back into 1959. I can remember the argument. They thought it was Sam Muchnick thought it was an argument between Joe and
Yeah,
Gene Kaniski and
yeah.
Rip Hawk. We kind of bring that one back to us.
Yeah, Rip Hawk, they were going at it pretty good, and Sam really read the riot act to Hawk and Kaniski, and he thought, sure, this is it, you know. You let the ring announcer alone. Little did he know that after the matches, Kaniski and Hawk and Joe went over to Gaslight Square together, and they were there drinking up for a couple of hours. And then from there, they went over to Redbird Lanes. They bowled games till 2, 3 in the morning. And they were buddies, and Sam didn't know about that. He thought they were, you know, against each other, but they weren't. They were good friends.
Gene Kaniski over the years had some great matches at St. Louis. What do you remember most about Gene, though? Just the attitude. I remember your brother called him, if a Brillo pad could talk, it would look like Gene.
Yeah, he looked ugly. Oh, he did. And the guy next guy that come along was the Bruiser. You put the Bruiser and Kaniski together, brother. You had a regular pawn shop going there.
Dick the Bruiser.
Dick was Dick the Bruiser was a nice guy, but Kaniski, I have to say, was my number one man. I'll tell you one thing about Gene Kaniski. He will never shut up. You start him, boy, and that tape keeps going.
I can't remember.
He was a good cook, too.
A good cook?
Yeah.
Gene was?
Yeah, yes, he was.
How'd you find that out?
One day over at Sam's house, he did the cooking in the kitchen there.
I didn't know that.
Well, you weren't invited.
Well, I was probably too young.
You're right.
What did Gene cook?
At that time, I don't know if it was spadini, chicken spadini, some pasta, salad. He was a gourmet cook. He wasn't no hot dog guy, McDonald's or anything like that. He put out a meal.
Gene Kaniski, a cook. That's scary. Dick the Bruiser didn't cook anything except trouble.
No, God, Dick the Bruiser. He's scary. He scared a steak away from the table.
Dick the Bruiser, a lot of people forget, did play professional football. He was with the Green Bay Packers before he got into wrestling.
And he was a bouncer.
And he was a bouncer out in Las Vegas. And he ended up causing all sort of trouble in St. Louis. He had many great matches here, but you always remember him away from the ring, I know.
Well, I think he was a real nice guy inside, but he had that. I tell you, you look at him, you see, oh man, this guy is really tough looking, you know, and ugly looking. But Gene, the Bruiser inside, he's a wonderful man.
Sam always told the story when Dick the Bruiser's daughter married Spike Huber, who of course was wrestling for us,
right.
and he said he looked up and here was the Bruiser just
Crying like a baby.
crying like a baby. And Sam went up to him afterwards, and you probably know, I'm sure you know the story as well as I do. Sam says, Dick, I knew down deep you were just a teddy bear. And Dick says, no, I'm crying about how much the wedding cost. He wouldn't admit it.
That was Dick.
That was Dick.
You know, what used to get me, you know, he would go from the Kiel Auditorium to the Claridge Hotel, and he would wear his underwear, the T-shirts, you know.
Show off
with
his
the
muscles.
striped muscles.
Yeah.
And we said to him, you know, you're liable to get mugged some night. He says, let him come on. He says, I'll take them on one at a time. Oh, he was tough.
In later years, a guy who fit that same mold was King Kong Brody, and you got to know Brody a little bit too, a good friend of ours. And the same way, he had that big, tough look, but when you got inside...
Yeah, with that beard on him and that.
Yeah, and
oh,
everything.
God, he was a big man.
I can remember my daughter, who was maybe 1 or 2 years old, meeting him at the airport one time, and she was fascinated by the scars Brody had in his head. And Brody just, go ahead, play with him, go ahead. It was all right. I mean, and it was amazing that a guy like that could get along with a little 1 or 2 year old girl like that.
And what about Ox Baker? He's another one.
What did Ox Baker do to your tie? And that's when, we always talk about St. Louis being different than wrestling was in some areas. Sam Muchnick did not want the wrestlers messing with the announcers, with the referees. You don't make money that way. You don't draw crowds that way. Ox Baker made a mistake once with Mickey Garagiola.
Well, the same thing I did with Dick the Bruiser when I introduced him. He took my glasses. Well, Ox come over and he took my tie off. And he put it on, And he went ahead and wrestled and everything else. So there I was without the tie. But the following week or two when he came back, probably a beautiful tie. He was a good man.
That's because he didn't realize that after that show,
Sam let him have it.
Sam let him have it. Said, "You're never wrestling here again. You keep your hands off my announcers, and you make it good. You apologize to Mickey." So that was Ox Baker apologizing
to
you.
And Sam would always say, "Hey, I'm paying you guys to wrestle inside the ring, not outside the ring." And you didn't see many of those guys running around for 10 minutes. A 15-minute bout in 10 minutes, they run around, then they jump in and jump out on the other side, and then another 3 minutes is gone, then they go around. Now it's time for the pin, and he jump in, and that's it. Sam, you said, "Oh, man, he hit the roof."
Make them wrestle.
Oh, you got to work for it.
We're a good hard match. He didn't mind the rough stuff. And, of course, Sam kind of knew, as you well know, there were a few guys like the Bruiser, like a Kiniski, like a Brody. Well, if they go outside the ring, maybe I'll kind of look away for just a little bit. But they knew what to do, and they knew how to do it.
Well, when they got outside the ring, Larry, you know as well as I do, you kept doing the play-by-play, and first thing you know, I know that this is going to happen when you're outside the ring. So I started to ease over, and I pick up the bell, and first thing you know, I'm over here behind that petition header, and you're out there, and he's letting him have it. And I says, "Good luck, Larry, man. I'm back here all the time." I was good at that.
Oh, you were good.
I sensed that it was going to happen.
Oh, I could tell. I can remember people looking at that. I can see when the Bruiser, you catch out of the corner of his eye, there's the press table. And out of the corner of my eye, I'd also see Mickey's right foot slipping off the platform.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to run a 100-yard dash to Lindell Boulevard. I didn't know what was going to happen, Mick. I was worried about you.
You weren't worried about me. You were worried about Larry, but you didn't know when to stop. You just kept going. That was your job to keep doing the play-by-play. Man, I was just kibitzing here and there, but I was back there and I was gone. Oh, man. And that table, that 2x4 of a table we had, that was something else. And then you helped put the table back up, and here comes the Bruiser again. Wah! Down it goes again.
One of the things you've always talked about, and it really made me appreciate the audience we had in St. Louis. I know what probably made you happiest over the years was the people who were maybe laid up in hospitals, nursing homes.
That's our fans. They were our fans. Nursing home and hospitals, they would watch that all the time. But you know the one that got me was the fan would watch Saturday night's show program.
We were on sometimes late Saturday night and then again Sunday morning.
And they would watch that. And then the next morning, these guys would go out and bet against them. Tell me, "Hey, I can tell you who's going to win the bout."
Well, that was if it happened up in your neighborhood, the Hill.
Yeah,
That's what happened at the Hill.
yeah.
You guys were always trying to con each other.
Well, that's right. And some of those guys didn't realize it, that this guy's no. My mother-in-law, she used to holler at the wrestlers all the time. She'd be right there on top of, right in front of the screen, and she'd call him everything under the sun. And she would holler at the guy, hit him, and she would say it in Italian. Things like that, which, I mean, translated.
I'm German. I'm having trouble with that.
Well, Bruntel means the stomach, and Douglas Jaffa means the 5 of clubs.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
That's it.
If you could do it all over again, would you do it again?
I would do it again, Larry, but I think I would do it outside the ring because at my age, at 104, I cannot go up those 3 steps, pull that rope up, and try to step in because if I step in, I don't know when I'm going to come back out. But I love it. I really enjoyed it, and the fans were great. Right today, I mean, I'll give an example. Last night we went over to this Missouri bakery for some cookies that my brother was in town. And we go over to get some cookies, and this guy's giving the cookies Joe Garagiola, Marzok, which means free, those. That's one thing about these ball players, celebrities, they got it free. And there is this one African-American guy sitting there, and he's looking at us, and he tells the boss, he says, I don't know who that guy is. I mean, pointing at my brother.
Joe
But
Garagiola.
But he didn't know.
Didn't know Joe.
But he said, that guy I know. He did wrestling at the Chase. And this is back to a long time ago. But he remembers that. And then you go down the street, and that when's wrestling at the Chase coming back to the Chase? When we get money.
Well, of course. We have great memories. Believe me, Mickey Garagiola is so much a part of all those memories of wrestling in St. Louis. Let's take a look at Mickey introducing a match from May 4th, 1980. It's Pat O'Connor and Rocky Johnson against Ken Patera and King Kong Brody.
The main event, an Australian tag team match, one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing from Wellington, New Zealand, weighing 235 pounds, former world's heavyweight champion, Pat O'Connor. From Oakland, California, weighing 249 pounds, Rocky Johnson. From Santa Fe, New Mexico, weighing 288 pounds, King Kong Brody. And from Portland, Oregon, weighing 265 pounds, Ken Patera. Referee Eddie Smith and Lee Warren.
Mickey Garagiola got out of that ring, didn't he? Can't say as I blame him. It's King Kong Brody and Ken Patera against Rocky Johnson and Pat O'Connor. What an explosive combination this can be. Patera and Brody with a brief conference. Rocky Johnson starting for his combination. It'll be Johnson against Patera. Johnson begins moving, grooving, as he likes to describe it. Patera almost retreats to the corner where O'Connor is. Patera says, wait a minute. Patera and Johnson tie up. Johnson spins Patera along the ropes. Clean break from Rocky Johnson. Side headlock by Patera on Johnson. Rocky comes out with a wrist lock on Ken Patera. Might have a chance for a little test of strength here between Rocky Johnson and Ken Patera. Johnson leaning into that wrist. Patera trying to get in position where he can stretch out that arm and maybe put Rocky Johnson back. Now Patera braces himself. The test of strength begins between Patera and Johnson. King Kong Brody bending forward on this side of the ring. Referee Lee Warren spots him and shakes a cautioning finger at Brody. Johnson leaning into Patera. Patera coming back. Oh, Patera grabs the hair to throw Johnson down. Johnson puts Patera into retreat. Eddie Smith counts Patera off the ropes, and Patera tags King Kong Brody. It's now Brody versus Johnson. Rocky Johnson flexing his arm. He felt the might that Ken Patera has. Brody visits briefly with Patera. A very cautious start, as could be expected with two teams of this high caliber. Feeling each other out. Brody and Johnson almost locked fingers, and then Brody stepped back. And King Kong was taking a look at the moving feet of Rocky and was a little leery. Now both hands are locked. Rocky Johnson and King Kong Brody match their muscle against one another. Brody groaning as he tries to get the advantage over Rocky Johnson. Johnson trying to get something moving. Steps over. Cartwheels backwards. Comes up with a wrist lock on King Kong Brody, and Brody struggles to keep his feet. Brody manages to stay on his feet, even though in the wrist lock of Rocky Johnson. Brody goes to one knee. Johnson leans into that wrist lock. Brody gets straightened up against Johnson. Rocky's speed certainly paid off there. His agility, his ability to move. Brody reaching for the tights of Rocky Johnson. Johnson grabs Patera and Brody's head, and Johnson bangs the heads of Patera and Brody together. Rocky Johnson causing a meeting of the minds, and Brody dives outside the ring. Brody stalks around the ring in anger. Patera sneaking in the ring, trying to come up behind Johnson, and Rocky Johnson chases Patera back to his corner. Brody with a side headlock on Rocky Johnson. Brody reaches out to tag Ken Patera. Patera with a kick to the chest of Johnson, and then it's Patera with the side headlock, tossing Johnson over into the mat. Patera squeezing the head of Rocky Johnson. A lot of people in the wrestling world are keeping an eye on what happens in this tag match. 4 top contenders for the World Heavyweight Championship right here. A former world champion among them. Patera leaning in on top of Johnson, and that makes Eddie Smith watch carefully Johnson's shoulders, that they're not trapped to the mat.
Five minutes have passed, 15 minutes left.
5 minutes have passed in the main event. It's Pat O'Connor and Rocky Johnson against Ken Patera and King Kong Brody. Patera and Johnson in that ring right now. Flying tackle by Patera. Johnson up quickly. He dives beneath Patera. Up over the top goes Rocky Johnson, and Patera goes flying. Johnson to his feet. Patera pushed to the corner. Tag is made to the Irishman, Pat O'Connor. O'Connor pounds on the head of Patera. Patera whipped into the ropes. O'Connor with the sleeper. O'Connor with the sleeper hold on Ken Patera. Here comes Brody to the ring, and he goes to work on the face of O'Connor. Patera hooks the head of O'Connor. Tag made to King Kong Brody. Patera hangs on to O'Connor. Brody with a front face lock on O'Connor. And Brody cries out. Brody putting the pressure into the neck of O'Connor. O'Connor forced down to his knees. Eddie Smith checking the front face lock is legal. It's not on the throat. There's your man down, yells Patera to Rocky Johnson. O'Connor trying to pop the head out, trying to get loose from King Kong Brody, or better yet, get over and make a tag with Rocky Johnson. Johnson leaning into that ring. Brody uses his power to shove O'Connor back toward the corner where powerful Ken Patera looms. The tag made to Patera. Patera locks O'Connor's head and yanks him right over the top. Count him, yells Patera. O'Connor slithers away. Patera moves behind O'Connor and hooks the head. Those big burly forearms pushed into O'Connor's cheeks. O'Connor's in a difficult position. O'Connor trying to pull the hands of Patera apart. Just can't do it. Too much strength. The crowd begins to yell and chant for O'Connor. Brody doesn't like the yelling, and he complains to the referee. O'Connor trying to straighten up. If he can get into a standing position, he might have a better opportunity to counter. Unless he could reach back and get Patera's leg. Pat reaches up for the head of Patera, trying to pull him over the top. Patera just won't budge. Too strong, too strong. O'Connor pulled down into sitting position by muscular Ken Patera. He's gone, yells Patera. There's your sleeper hold, yells Patera. Ken Patera, possibly the world's strongest human, squeezing the head of Pat O'Connor. Patera, so far really the absolute best in the super heavyweight division that America has turned out in weightlifting. He beat them all from all sorts of countries. King Kong Brody yells at Mickey Garagiola to ring the bell. Ring the bell, yells Brody, because he feels that O'Connor is out and that victory should belong to Patera and Brody. But O'Connor still has life. He's still kicking about.
I can't move. The guy's scaring me. I don't speak for nothing.
Well, something happened to you. I thought you were paralyzed.
Wouldn't you? He's not only a big guy, but he's up on top of the ring looking down at me.
King Kong Brody is an impressive sight from any angle. O'Connor trying to get over to Rocky Johnson. Brody started to step into the ring. Lee Warren stopped him. The tag rope came loose. Brody says, "Who, me? I didn't do that." Ken Patera working on the head of Farmer World Champion Pat O'Connor. O'Connor will need all of his cunning to counter the muscle of Patera. O'Connor kicks free Patera right back on top. O'Connor cradles Patera. Count of one. Patera pops loose. Patera grabs ahead again. Pat O'Connor taking punishment at the hands of Patera. And with Patera's strength, that punishment is particularly effective. O'Connor lifts Patera off his feet. And O'Connor walks his way toward Rocky Johnson and makes a tag. Here comes Rocky Johnson.
10 minutes have passed, 10 minutes left.
King Kong Brody's in the ring and Johnson's after him. He's after Patera. Johnson grabs both men and again rams their heads together. O'Connor's in the ring and after Brody, all four men. In that ring, Johnson backs Patera to one corner. O'Connor grabs Brody, and Brody and Patera slam together. A tremendous collision. Brody takes a punch to the head from Rocky Johnson. Patera retreats to the ropes. Brody yanks the tag rope loose. Brody outside the ring, he has the tag rope. Brody trying to get after Rocky Johnson. Johnson, I think, saw what had happened, and Lee Warren regains the tag rope. King Kong Brody nearly went on a rampage right there. Brody nearly blew up, nearly exploded. Patera went for the leg of Rocky Johnson. Rocky stepped back. Johnson looks at Brody and gestures at him. "I'll take you too. It doesn't matter to me," says Rocky Johnson. Brody with a long look at Pat O'Connor. A tough, hard-fought match. There's the full Nelson by Johnson. O'Connor goes up in the ropes so he gets some leverage. He wants to blast away at Brody. Brody steps into the ropes. Johnson's going to have to give up the full Nelson. The crowd boos at King Kong Brody. Brody and Johnson. It's Johnson with the side headlock on King Kong. Brody forcing Johnson to the ropes. The referee trying to get Brody back. Brody with a smash to the midsection of Rocky Johnson. And then Brody with a forearm smash to the back. Down goes Rocky Johnson. Brody standing on the throat of Rocky Johnson, using the ropes for leverage. Most guys can't even budge those cables. Brody lifted the bottom one nearly to the top one. Ollie Hofstetter, the floor director, shaking his head. He knows how tightly those cables are in there. Most people can hardly move them. And Brody made it look like a piece of string. Patera pulls Johnson to the corner. Now Brody has the tag rope around Rocky Johnson's throat. Brody strangling Johnson with that tag rope. Patera to the attack. Patera pounding on the midsection of Johnson and then on the head. Now Patera keeping that tag rope around the throat of Rocky Johnson. Brody back on the assault now. Brody and Patera really opening up now as Rocky Johnson is trapped in the corner. Patera strangling and Brody strangling Johnson. Here comes O'Connor to help his partner. The referees chase O'Connor back to where he belongs. Brody strangling Johnson. Johnson suspended over those top ropes. Brody going outside the ring. Johnson falling to the floor. Brody grabs Johnson. And Brody with a hard forearm smash to Rocky Johnson. Brody outside the ring grabs one of the ropes that are holding the ring together. Now Brody strangling Johnson with one of the outside ropes. Brody gone berserk as Rocky Johnson outside the ring. Brody again strangling Rocky. King Kong Brody watching Rocky Johnson looking for an opening. Brody again with that rope strangling Rocky Johnson. Eddie Smith trying to get Brody back. As soon as Brody retreats, it's Patera on the attack. Brody and Patera, a wrecking crew. Brody grabs the chair. Brody grabs the chair and drives the chair into the throat of Rocky Johnson. Brody driving the chair into the throat of Rocky Johnson. O'Connor trying to pull Johnson out of that corner. Rocky Johnson trying to fight back against Patera. Johnson pounding on Patera's stomach. Rocky Johnson goes through the legs of Patera and tags Pat O'Connor.
15 minutes have elapsed, 5 minutes left.
5 minutes remaining as Pat O'Connor pounds on Patera. Patera hurled across the ring and into the buckles. O'Connor covers Patera. Count of one and Patera gets away. O'Connor with a vicious right. O'Connor with the sleeper. Patera gets into the ropes quickly. Patera rolls outside the ring. Rocky Johnson deserves all sorts of credit for taking all that punishment and still being able to fight his way out of the corner and tag O'Connor. Now Rocky gets a chance to rest, and he needed that. Patera wants to talk over a little strategy with Brody. Tag made, or was there a tag made? I think Brody's just adding his 2 cents worth. Arm drag by O'Connor on Patera. Patera cries out as O'Connor stretches the arm of Ken Patera. Brody is pacing up and down that apron. Finally stops. Tag made to Rocky Johnson. You can bet Rocky'd love to do some damage right here. O'Connor enjoying the action as Johnson pounds away on the elbow and bicep of Ken Patera. Johnson going right after Patera's strength. And then Rocky bends back on the wrist, bending it over his own knee. Johnson steps across the face of Ken Patera.
3 minutes left, 3 minutes.
The knee lift by Patera. Johnson bounced off the rope. Patera caught in the sunset flip. The sunset flip by Rocky Johnson. Patera breaks free. Front rolling cradle by Patera. Good move by Patera. Johnson breaks free. Johnson with the headbutt. The headbutt by Rocky Johnson. A second headbutt by Johnson. Down goes Patera. He wants to tag Brody, and Brody ignores the hand. Brody ignoring the outstretched hand of Ken Patera. Finally, Brody does make that tag, but it was a hesitant tag at best. Headbutt by Johnson spins King Kong Brody. Hard right again. Brody takes his lumps from Rocky Johnson. Another punch from Rocky Johnson. Johnson pounds on King Kong Brody. And then Johnson gouges Brody's eyes. O'Connor kicks Brody in the stomach. Brody taking his lumps from O'Connor and Johnson. Johnson scores, and then Brody goes to the eyes of Rocky Johnson. Johnson dumps Brody, roll up cradle, count of 1, 2, and then Johnson is powered away by King Kong Brody. who lands a punch to the stomach and a chop to the throat by King Kong Brody. Knee drop by Brody. He covers Johnson. Johnson lifts Brody off. Give me the knee, yells Brody to Ken Patera.
1 minute left. 1 minute.
1 minute remaining as Brody is pitched into O'Connor. Patera is after Rocky Johnson. I think a tag was made to O'Connor. Patera caught in that corner. Doesn't Brody belong in the ring? It's hard to tell with everything that's happening in this tag team warfare on Wrestling at the Chase. O'Connor with a sizzling right cross. Another one by Pat O'Connor to Ken Patera. Patera belted around by Pat O'Connor. O'Connor covers Patera. Brody was after O'Connor. Tag made to Brody. Brody pounds on O'Connor. Oh, Brody hits Patera! Brody caught Patera right in the stomach when O'Connor sidestepped. There's the bell. The time limit is over. And now Brody and Patera stand toe-to-toe and argue about what happened at the end of that match. The official verdict is a draw. And Brody and Patera take long looks at one another. What's wrong with you, yells Patera at Brody. The match is a draw. Let's make it official and hear from Mickey.
With time running out, referee Eddie Smith declares the match a draw.
King Kong Brody has always been something of a loner in the wrestling business, and that's why really I was a bit surprised that you agreed to take part in this tag match today on Wrestling at the Chase.
Surprised? You act like everybody else around here surprised about nothing. Let me tell you something. I want to make my point real clear. It's always been the same. King Kong Brody is for one thing and one thing only, and that's himself. I don't need no help from Ken Patera. I don't need help from Dickie Murdoch. I don't need help from nobody. And if Sam Muchnick wants to keep forcing me into a tag match, I'm going to warn him, too, that sooner or later, something's going to happen that you ain't going to have no control over, Muchnick. And in the end, a lot of your top wrestlers are going to pay for it. I'm telling you and everybody else out there, I like being alone. I don't need friends, and I don't need nobody out there telling me what to do. And the next time I end up in a tag match, and anybody lays one single hand on me, they're going to pay for it. That goes for Patera, Murdoch, or anybody else. I want to be left alone, and I don't want no one else to get close to me at no time.
I know just a few weeks ago now you had complained that you thought some promoters in wrestling were trying to protect certain wrestlers from you, that they were afraid they might be hurt. And you complained quite violently and quite loudly that there was a protection racket going on really for people like the Von Erichs, for Bruiser, for Race, for Flair.
Let me tell you something. Since I've been coming to St. Louis, I've wrestled every man they brought in here and beat every man. I've wrestled the Funks. I've wrestled the Briscoes. I've wrestled Race. I even beat the Giant at his own game. I beat him right in the middle of the ring in a battle royal. I've beat every man they put me in the ring with. And you know, and the people know, and I know, that there's not one man that comes to St. Louis to wrestle at this time, or not one man in the whole country that is big enough, that's got big enough pants, that he can come out here and put me on my back. And that includes your world champion. Not my world champion, your world champion.
Of course, the only time you have been pinned in St. Louis was by Harley Race.
Cut out the nonsense. Let's get it straight right now. When I wrestled Harley Race, the referee caused me to get beat, and everybody in the building saw it, and everybody knows it. I am rightfully the owner of that belt. You call him the world champion, and they can call him the world champion. I'm calling him a whipping board for King Kong Brody, because I'm going to whip his butt just like I've whipped everybody else I've set foot in this ring with.
And I guess that challenge that you made some time back that you'll take on any two opponents at one time still goes.
Nobody's ever come out here on Wrestling at the Chase and beat two men as easy as I've beat them. I've been wrestling two men my whole life, and it doesn't matter. You don't see me crying. You don't see me down on my knees begging about it. I go in there and take care of business, and business for me and me only, and that's the way I want it to stay.
King Kong Brody making it very clear he doesn't care for tag matches. He's his own tag team. And who are we to argue? We'll be back with more right after this.
Before we leave you from Volume 4, Mickey Garagiola has one memory he's never going to forget. I think he probably thought he was going to get fired by Sam Muchnick. It didn't work out that way. It was a tag team match. Harley Race was the World Heavyweight Champion at the time. He was teaming with Bulldog Bob Brown against Paul Orndorff. Ted DiBiase, take it away, Mick.
Well, Ted DiBiase and Harley Race, they were putting on a great match, the two of them. And any hole you can think of, they were doing it. And it was good, clean wrestling. I mean, and first thing you know, Ted DiBiase pins him and wins the bout. Well, I get all excited, and I said, and now the winner in X amount of time, the new world's heavyweight champion, Ted DiBiase. And Race is laying there, and he's hollering out, no, no, no. And I'm saying, what do you mean, no, no, no? He said, he beat you. No, no, no. Sam's up in the control room, and he's going crazy, too. And Larry here covers up for me. Larry's saying, well, he says, Mickey got so excited, and it was a great match, and I got excited too. So he says that Ted DiBiase is a champion, but you don't exchange the championship in a ring and television. You do it
In a tag match.
in a tag match. Yeah, you don't do that. And so he covered up for me, but I thought it was a great bout, and I can't help it. I made Ted DiBiase, and today Ted DiBiase always thanks me for it, for making him the champ.
And you tried hard.
I tried hard.
Hey, well, we're going to try hard with Volume 5. That'll be coming soon. Ric Flair at his best, in his prime. Kerry Von Erich against Ken Patera. A girls' tag team match, Joyce Grable and Wendy Richter. Von Raschke will be back. Rufus R. Jones, Butch Reed, and a whole lot more. But most importantly right now, Mickey, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry. It's a pleasure, and I'm heading for the tub.
Heading for the tub.
Hot
Thank you so
tub,
much. Larry Matisic and Mickey Garagiola saying so long.
Tyler and Mike George, the Bruiser ripping on the bloody nose of Tyler. Barr and George battering each other. The referee's trying to restore some order. Tyler, the bloody Buzz Tyler, knocked out of the ring. Mike George battering Jesse Barr, and then the Bruiser chases Mike George out. Buzz Tyler, a bloody mess. Compliments of Dick the Bruiser.
The opening bout, an Australian tag team match, one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Topeka, Kansas, weighing 252 pounds, Art Cruz. From Amarillo, Texas, weighing 237 pounds, Tommy Sharp. From Dublin, Ireland, weighing 250 pounds, Pat Kelly. Also weighing 250 pounds from Dublin, Ireland, Mike Kelly. Referee Joe Tangara and Lee Warren.
Wish us luck, because the Kelly twins are hard to tell apart. It's Pat and Mike Kelly against Tommy Sharp and Art Cruz. Sharp, anxious, rushes the corner, but the Kellys are slowly removing their gear. And Mike Kelly begins for his side. Mike Kelly against Tommy Sharp. They weigh the same, they look the same. A referee's nightmare, I would think, in a tag team match.
And they're from Dublin, Ireland.
You do that very well. You're familiar with all those countries. Ireland, Italy. Side headlock by, I have to take a look myself, Mike Kelly on Tommy Sharp. Boy, they really do look alike. Same length hair, beard the same, hair color the same, build the same.
I tell you, there's nothing wrong with your set, ladies and gentlemen. I can't figure which one is Pat, which one is Mike.
But I looked at something when Mickey Garagiola was introducing him. Right now, Pat Kelly has his knee guards down his shins. Mike Kelly's knee guards are up a little higher. See, Mike's knee guards a little bit higher. It's up across the kneecap. Pat's are a little bit lower. Tommy Sharp trying to twist out with a wrist lock against Mike Kelly. He's almost out of it. He has the wrist lock. Oh, good counter by Kelly. Good counter by Tommy Sharp. Some good wrestling on behalf of both grapplers there.
Break it off, Tommy!
Nice leg trip up by Mike Kelly. Kelly and Sharp tie up once more. Side headlock by Sharp on Kelly. Kelly pitches Sharp to the ropes, and Kelly hits the ropes. Both men flying off the strands. Sharp's waiting. Arm drag. Good move move again by Tommy Sharp. And the packed house here at the KPLR TV studio loves it. They are solidly aligned with the duo of Art Cruz and Tommy Sharp. Good bridge there by Kelly, kept his shoulders off the mat. Now Sharp shifts his weight over Kelly so he can put more pressure into the elbow and into the shoulder. Sharp pulls back on Mike Kelly's arm. Lee Warren, the referee, checked to make sure that Kelly did not want to submit. Kelly struggles to his feet. He grabs Sharp, tosses him to the ropes. Both men flying. Sharp waiting. He catches Kelly, lifts him to the air. Body slam from Tommy Sharp. Here comes the other Kelly twin, and he stomps on the head of Tommy Sharp to break up a potential pin. I think Mike Kelly still had plenty of spunk left to kick Tommy Sharp off, but now it's Pat Kelly on the attack against Tommy Sharp. A knee to the head from Pat Kelly. Get that knee up there, yells Pat Kelly to his twin brother. And Tommy Sharp's head took a jolt. Flying mare. And then Kelly clamps the chin of Tommy Sharp, squeezing the jawbones together. It's not a strangle. You can see plenty of daylight in there across the windpipe on Tommy Sharp as Sharp reaches up for the head of Pat Kelly, but really has no leverage. The leverage at this point all belongs to Pat Kelly. Sharp bridges up nicely, trying to lean into Kelly, pitch him over the flying mare, but Kelly ends up against the ropes and then drives his knee into the lower back of Tommy Sharp. Give me that knee. And he got it. Instead, it was a boot into the stomach. Here comes Mike Kelly. An elbow smash to the head. Another knee. The Kelly twins using those knees to good advantage. Count of two before Tommy Sharp gets away, and however, alert floor director Ollie Hofstetter, I think, found one other small difference, a tattoo on the right arm of... Now, I got to look again, which Kelly's which. Let's see, that's Pat Kelly, who has a small tattoo on the right arm, and Mike Kelly does not. Thank you, Ollie. This KPLR TV crew, you can't beat them. They're the best. Tag is made. Pat Kelly with a flying mare. Pat Kelly wearing his knee pads a bit lower and with a tattoo on the right arm. And believe me, you're going to need binoculars to spot those two differences at any distance. The Kelly twins, amazingly alike and amazingly successful. They've done a lot of wrestling throughout Canada, throughout the Southland. A very good tag team combination and extremely capable in individual outings. As you can see by a number of quick tags and some good strategy, they've been able to keep command in this tag match, at least so far.
5 minutes have expired, 10 minutes left.
Tommy Sharp nearly came up with a pin on Pat Kelly. Sharp trying to get over and tag Art Cruz. It would be the first tag for that duo in the match. The Kellys have made several tags. Here comes Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly pounds on Tommy Sharp. Oh, a hard slash drop Sharp. A knee drop into the chest by Kelly. A knee drop to the back, and Tommy Sharp is getting in a lot of trouble. There's another tag by the Kelly twins. What do we have here? The Kellys lifting Sharp into the air, catapulting Tommy Sharp into Mike Kelly. You can tell the Kellys have worked together often. Sharp was there for the tag, but Cruz was out of the corner. By the time he got back, Sharp was already out of the corner. Sharp and Cruz missed a good chance for a tag right there. Sharp in real trouble, and the Kelly twins are creating quite a bit of problems for referees Joe Tangaro and Lee Warren. Sharp trying to fight his way out of trouble. Tommy Sharp pounding on Kelly. He makes the tag with Art Cruz. Cruz, fresh and angry, tears into Kelly. Mike Kelly yanked out of the corner by Cruz. Cruz staying right on top of Kelly. The other brother starts to step in, and Joe Tangaro stopped him. Flying wheel from Art Cruz. Drop kick by Cruz, floors Kelly. Mike Kelly caught in a side headlock by Art Cruz. Cruz forced down by Kelly, who quickly grabs the throat. Tommy Sharp reaching in from outside to grab the beard and the ears of Kelly. He pulls Kelly off of Cruz, but Kelly hangs in there. Tag made to Pat Kelly. Cruz running into some trouble after a quick start.
Let's go. Lay him on the rope. Break it up. Break it.
The Kellys catching Cruz in the corner. A forearm smash from Pat Kelly. Have to look every time. Have to double check every time. Make sure you have the right twin in there. Amazing similarities between the two. Now Cruz with the side headlock on Pat Kelly. Luckily I saw that tiny tattoo on his forearm, so I knew it was Pat.
That and those knee guards, you might as well say the sensational Kelly brothers, and that's it.
Well, I'll tell you, they move well together as a combination. Nice rolling toe hold by Pat Kelly. Well done. And then he moves into the double toe hold on Art Cruz. Grabs the hair. Lee Warren quickly slaps that hand away from the hair of Cruz. Pat Kelly now pulling back on the arm of Cruz. The rough, tough Kelly twins. You can see that tattoo on the shoulder there of Pat Kelly. Pat with the tattoo, Mike without. Great camera work again. Knee, yells Pat Kelly. Makes a tag. He's going to set Cruz up for his brother. No knee at all. Instead, it's a forearm smash. As Pat Kelly was slow to release Art Cruz, I'll tell you, they bleed every count they can out of the referees. They're using the rule book to their advantage in this tag team match. Both arms locked, and Mike Kelly uses a double arm suplex on Art Cruz. Count of one, count of two. Tommy Sharp there to help his partner out. Front face lock by Mike Kelly on Art Cruz. Lee Warren checking. It's not a strangle. Lee right on top of the situation, made sure. Cruz trying to twist out. If he can break the grip, he can pop right out of that front face lock if he can break the grip. And that's proving a bit difficult right now. Kelly, strong man, tag made. Here comes Pat Kelly. Mike Kelly slow to release again, and that rib cage of Art Cruz was open to attack. Front face lock again, this time by Mike Kelly on Art Cruz. Cruz trying to twist out. Tommy Sharp outside the ring, jamming his foot into the mat and yelling at his partner Art Cruz, trying to stir something up. Cruz trying to duck underneath. Nice low suplex by Cruz. That breaks the front face lock. Well done by Art Cruz, but he was a little the worse for wear after being in that front face lock for so long. And Pat Kelly was quick to regain the hold. Here comes Mike.
10 minutes of a lap, 5 minutes left.
10 minutes have passed in the curtain raiser on Wrestling at the Chase. It's the Kelly twins against Tommy Sharp and Art Cruz. Side headlock and a punch to the head from Mike Kelly on Cruz. Now think of this. Cruz and Sharp have made only one tag in 10 minutes. How many tags have the Kelly twins made? And that's why the Kelly twins have had the advantage. Extra experience in tag team outings, the ability to work together because they are brothers, and they're making that pay off, at least so far. Hard punch to the jaw from Kelly to Cruz. Cruz lands a couple of punches, a forearm smash. Cruz flails away at Kelly. Mike Kelly turned to the corner and slammed head first into the top turnbuckle by Art Cruz. Cruz with a side headlock now on Mike Kelly. Kelly lifting that leg, bending the leg, lifting Cruz and slamming Cruz's shin bone and knee right into his own knee. You'll recall that move was initiated originally years back by Dory Funk Jr. A lot of wrestlers have picked up on it and use it well now. Inside step over toe hold. What have we here? He could be going for an type of Indian deathlock. Yes, an Indian deathlock, I guess you could call that, or an Irish deathlock. And Art Cruz may have no choice but to submit. It looks like a takeoff on the figure four leg lock. Tommy Sharp being chased away from Mike Kelly and Pat Kelly with a type of Indian deathlock, a takeoff of the figure four leg lock. Maybe Mickey can ask him what he called the hold. To be exact, a very punishing leg hold. You can see they're having to untangle Art Cruz's legs. Cruz had to submit. He's holding that knee, and he may very well have injured his knee at the hands of Pat Kelly with that type of leg lock. Mickey Garagiola will have the name of the hold, and he'll announce the winner right now.
11 minutes and 27 seconds with the Irish Crush, the winning team of the Kelly brothers. Main event, a one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Winnipeg, Canada, weighing 248 pounds, Kerry Brown. From Los Angeles, California, weighing 325 pounds, Big John Studd. Referee, Joe Tangaro.
Kerry Brown opposes Big John Studd, and I'll tell you something, they put Studd on the scale just before this match, and he came in at 325 pounds. Stands 6'9", he is a bear. And Kerry Brown, who's been going real good of late, has his hands full today against Big John Studd, a man with a tremendous reputation. Studd just shoves Kerry Brown halfway across the ring. Kerry has to take a little look at this situation.
Tell him about that, Daddy.
He says to tell him about that. Well, you could see it for yourself, the power that man has. A protege of Killer Kowalski. Crowd starts yelling, "We want Brody, we want Andre." Well, Big John Studd will be in that massive Wrestle Royal with Andre and Brody. That should be something. Think of the size in that big 16-man Wrestle Royal. Just take the 5 biggest men alone, and you've got over 1,700 pounds. Kerry Brown pitched away again by Big John Studd, who wades in with a vicious kick to the stomach of Kerry Brown. Oh, Brown powered into that corner. Studd charges it and misses. Kerry Brown rolled away, and then Kerry puts a side headlock on Big John Studd. Yes, sir, in that Wrestle Royal, you take the 5 biggest men, Andre, Baker, Tyler, Studd, Brody, and you're going to have over 1,700 pounds during just those 5 alone. All 16 combatants guaranteed will be over 4,400 pounds during that Wrestle Royal, so you can call it the 2-ton Wrestle Royal if you want, because more than 2 tons of muscle will be in that ring at once in the Wrestle Royal. And of course, Andre the Giant, he's always the man to beat in a Wrestle Royal. He's the biggest of the big, 7'5", 465 pounds. Kerry Brown tried to pitch Big John over the hips and couldn't do it. Big John lifts Kerry Brown, throws him away. Kerry landed on his feet, trying a flying tackle. Try it again, punk, says Big John Studd. Oh, flying cross body block. Brilliant move by Kerry Brown. He nearly got a pin as he surprised Big John Studd with a flying cross body block. Good move by Kerry, but Big John, so powerful, just threw Kerry Brown off. Big John Studd, I'll tell you, he's got a lot of victories under his belt up around Minnesota, Wisconsin, and parts of Canada. Prior to that, up in Hawaii and Japan, he did real well. Main event after main event, and Big John Studd has his eyes on the top, the World Heavyweight Championship and the Missouri State title. He has the credentials. He misses that forearm smash. Kerry Brown doesn't miss. Side headlock again on Big John Studd. Kerry has to keep that head pulled forward on Studd. If he lets Studd straighten up, well, Kerry's going up into the air. You can count on that. Kerry pitched to the ropes. And Studd sends Kerry Brown flying. Oh! Elbow drop from Big John Studd right across the back of the ribs. Kerry Brown in trouble just from one bounce because Big John is so big and strong. Big John lifts Kerry Brown and slams him backwards into the buckles. You talk about a man who knows how to use his size. You're looking at it right now in Big John Studd. He knows how to use that hugeness, that immense bulk in his favor. And you know he's not fat. Look at him. He's well proportioned. Big chest, big shoulders and arms. There's that forearm smash. Oh, he has a wicked one. It's legal. No problem about that. That forearm is legal, but when he drives it home, it's like crashing a sledgehammer on target. Big John Studd pulls back on the head of Kerry Brown. Joe Tangaro right in there. It's not a strangle, and Kerry Brown not giving up. Believe it or not, Big John Studd was a college basketball star. He's put on a lot of weight since then. Obviously, he's bulked up using the weights, but can you imagine him under a backboard? He'd knock a few heads around. Ask him now, says Big John. We understand that he's been developing a hard punch to go along with his hanging backbreaker. And Kerry Brown, caught right there, his chin pulled back, is going to have to be careful and avoid either the hard punch or the hanging backbreaker. He has to negate the size advantage Big John Studd has, as Kevin Von Erich will have to do in that big match coming up between Big John Studd and Kevin Von Erich. Kerry Brown is about 13 pounds heavier than Kevin, so that gives you some idea how much weight and size that Kevin Von Erich's going to give away against Big John. He's going to give away 7 inches in height and close to 100 pounds in weight. On the other hand, as tall as Big John is, there's going to be an inviting target for Kevin Von Erich's cross-body scissors right across the midsection.
5 minutes have passed, 10 minutes left.
The forearm smash drives Kerry Brown down to the mat. Big John lifts Kerry Brown, pitches him away with a body slam. Big John Studd with a flying mare. He just manhandles Kerry Brown. And Kerry's nearly 250 pounds. John Studd pulling back. Look at the shoulders. No neck on that guy. It's all muscle. This goes right from shoulders into the head. He's so strong through the upper body. Just imagine what will happen if in the Wrestle Royal came down to, say, him and Andre, or him and Brody. Brody and Studd locked horns briefly in a recent tag match. Boy, that was a war. Let me tell you, they pounded on each other. Kerry Brown trying to come to his feet. Drives an elbow to the stomach, but that stomach's just as good a target for Big John Studd as Kerry Brown found out the hard way. Studd grabs the arm of Kerry Brown, hurls him across the ring, and kicks him right in the breadbasket, right in the solar plexus. Big John goes on the second rope, flying knee drop into the chest. It wasn't the throat. It was close, but it was not the throat. Count of one. Kerry Brown shoves off Big John Studd, and that takes some exertion right there to shove Big John around. Kerry Brown gasping to get his win. He has picked up a few bruises against Big John Studd. What a powerhouse. What a challenge that's going to be for Kevin Von Erich, and you can bet Kevin knows it. Can he use the claw against this man? Can he get the iron claw on Big John? Cross-body scissors might be the way to go, though. Big John Studd is tall. He's not carrying a whole lot of excess weight through the midsection. He's slim through there. That cross-body scissors maybe could work against Big John, but the question will be if he gets it on John while he's standing, can he ride Studd down? It's like trying to pull down the arch. And as big as Studd is, think how much size he gives away to Andre the Giant in the Wrestle Royal. It's Kerry Brown. There's pounding on Big John. He lifts the big man. 325 pounds slammed by Brown. But did you see Studd maneuver while on his back to swing those big legs around and drop Kerry Brown? Hey, Big John Studd just showed you something. He was slammed, but he didn't lose his composure. He managed to scoot around while on his back and knock Kerry Brown down. Just like Andre the Giant, Big John Studd shows you there's more to this business than just size. There's more to being successful than just being big. And it's things like that that have made Big John Studd a main event attraction throughout the country. Flying elbow drop by Studd. He moves around. Brown manages to lift the shoulder. Studd scores again with that elbow drop. Brown gets the shoulder up, but he's got to generate some offense now. Studd, with his size and with his muscle, has been wearing down Kerry Brown, and Kerry has to get something going offensively. It's not a strangle, but that head's been twisted. The neck's got to be sore on Kerry Brown. He has to be aching. You know, you talk about the big men. How about that team of Andre the Giant and King Kong Brody? Can they even bury the hatchet long enough to work together against Nature Boy Ric Flair and Dick Murdoch? Two teams that could be awesome if they can get along. If Andre the Giant and King Kong Brody can work together. If the egos of Nature Boy Ric Flair and Dick Murdoch can survive, that could be the wildest tag match ever in St. Louis wrestling history. Andre and Brody on the same team. Big John Studd pounds Kerry Brown down to the canvas. Studd towers over Brown. Moves behind him, lifts him to the air. Oh, look at that atomic knee drop. Slamming the tailbone into his knee. Count of one, count of two. Kerry Brown gets away. Stud is showing us a lot of weapons here. Kevin Von Erich, take note. You know, we mentioned in that tag match, Andre and Brody, if they can get along, that probably requires a little explanation. You know, they have been opponents here in St. Louis before, and I'm sure that it's only the fact that Dick Murdoch's on the other team that Sam Muchnick was ever able to get King Kong Brody to agree to be Andre the Giant's partner, because Brody detests tag matches to begin with. But go back to the last 4 Royals in St. Louis, the last 4 Royals that Andre the Giant was here for and entered. Andre won 3 of those 4 Wrestle Royals. The only one he didn't win was taken by King Kong Brody. So Brody and Andre may be partners at one point and enemies at another.
10 minutes have expired, 5 minutes left.
Big John Studd squeezing ahead of Kerry Brown. Kerry's made a game effort, but Studd so far has just been too big and powerful. Big John twisting that head. Look at him smiling at the crowd. He knows things are going well. He knows he's in control. He forces the head of Kerry Brown down and then stomps on Kerry Brown. Kerry getting up slower. Where's that adrenaline? Kerry's thinking, come on. He's got to do something against Big John. Take him off his feet and keep him off his feet. Oh, Studd clotheslines Kerry Brown. John Studd clotheslines Brown. Kerry, groggy, tries to come up. Studd. Oh, look out! Backslide! Backslide by Kerry Brown! This could be it! No, Studd yanks the arm free. All that weight over his shoulders. That could have been a tough spot for Big John Studd. Now Kerry tries to follow up. Studd hangs right in there, whips Brown to the ropes. Jackknife cradle! The jackknife and the cradle! But Studd again, too quick with all that size, rolled away. Drop kick by Kerry. Studd keeps his feet. A second drop kick. Studd stepped away. Elbow drop to the back of Kerry Brown. Brown missed the drop kick. The first drop kick didn't do the job. It didn't knock him off his feet. Big John lifts Kerry Brown over the top. The hanging backbreaker. That's one of his favorites. The hanging backbreaker by Big John Studd. Look at him pulling the arms out so the pain and the pressure is even more into the spine. Kerry Brown gives up. Tangaro tries to get Big John Studd to release the hanging backbreaker. And that was one impressive victory for Big John Studd. Oh, what a challenge Kevin Von Erich has coming up. Let's hear from Mickey Garagiola.
11 minutes and 39 seconds with the hanging backbreaker. The winner, Big John Studd.
There comes Kerry Brown off the ropes, trying for that jackknife and cradle, pulling Big John backward. As you can watch in slow motion, Kerry trying to trap the shoulders down. Studd managed to get the shoulders up, and from there, Big John went on to follow up and get the victory over Kerry with a hanging backbreaker. We'll talk to Big John Studd right after this. Watch as Big John Studd polishes off Kerry Brown with that hanging backbreaker. Studd lifting Brown overhead, stretching the back out, stretching out the spine, and that's how Big John Studd won today on Wrestling at the Chase from Kerry Brown. And I guess, John, that's one of the holds you would love to use on Kevin Von Erich.
That's right. Just another example of the power and the strength and the wrestling ability that John Studd, 6'9", 325-pound possesses. You know, I'm very hungry. I got a lot of goals, and a lot of them are set right here. I'm after Kevin Von Erich, you know. I don't like his daddy. I used to beat up his daddy, and what would be a greater insult to his father, a greater punishment than to punish one of his sons and destroy him and beat him right in the middle of the ring.
You have so much size over Kevin Von Erich, it's going to be difficult for him.
That's right. Size and strength prevails in all my wrestling ability. Do you notice how I grab him and I punish him and I hurt him before I beat him? Punishment's the name of the game. It's not wrestling, it's punishment. And the toughest man wins. Now I got some bigger goals set in front of me. 1, destroy Bruiser Brody. I've been chasing him for a long time. 2, beat Andre the Giant. The only man in professional wrestling today that's a shade taller and a shade bigger than I am. I've chased this man from coast to coast. And you know what? I have a feeling I got him cornered. And when I grab Andre the Giant, all 464 pounds, all 7'5" of him, and I smash him right in the center of the ring, and then I pick him up for the backbreaker, it's going to be all over. And I can say to all you people out there, I told you so.
Of course, you will be in that Giant Wrestle Royal with Andre, with Brody, with people like the Bruiser, Oxbaker. You'll have to throw them over the top rope. You're saying that you can lift Andre the Giant. Do I understand that correctly? You can lift Andre?
Not only am I saying it, I will show all you people in the wrestling world that I can do it. And yet, my goals are even set higher than that. One Harley Race, the world's heavyweight champion. Do you think Harley Race could withstand the punishment I dished out to this punk tonight? This punk, he was a ringer. He was a lot better than the promoters told me he was. He was a lot tougher. Yet I prevailed. I destroyed him right in the center of the ring. Bruiser Brody, Andre the Giant, the same lies for you. Where I travel, I leave nothing but a trail of broken wrestlers behind me. I have one goal, and that's to the top, the World Heavyweight Championship. And no one will stand in my way. Do you understand it? No one will stand in my way.
Big John Studd. He obviously has the size and the power to back up what he says. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
The fourth bout, an Australian tag team match, most falls to curfew. Introducing from Montreal, Canada, weighing 233 pounds, Jerry Roberts. From St. Joe, Missouri, weighing 250 pounds, Bruce Reed. From Winnipeg, Canada, weighing 246 pounds, Bulldog Bob Brown. From Seattle, Washington, weighing 284 pounds, Tiny Anderson.
Tiny Anderson makes his St. Louis debut as the tag team partner of Bulldog Bob Brown against Bruce Reed and newcomer Jerry Roberts. Heard a lot of good things about this Jerry Roberts. We'll keep an eye on him. Reed forced to the ropes by Tiny Anderson. Forearm smash from Anderson. Reed battles back with an elbow to Anderson's head. And then a drop kick by Big Bruce Reed. Arm drag by Reed, and Tiny Anderson is flung to the mat. Anderson gets to his feet. Reed makes a tag with Jerry Roberts. Young Canadian wrestler has quite a reputation around his native Quebec. He twists the arm of Tiny Anderson. Jerry has just invaded the Midwest, and a lot of people are expecting big things from Jerry. Slender, but they say he can really take to the air. Double wrist lock by Roberts on Tiny Anderson. Joe Tangaro made sure that Anderson didn't pull the tights. Quick tag made to Bruce Reed. Reed with an elbow smash to the shoulder of Tiny Anderson. Then Reed yanks out that arm. Anderson counters. Reed rolls down and kicks Anderson away. Tag made to the Bulldog. The crowd hoots, hollers, and barks at Bulldog Bob Brown. This guy could go into the quietest room in the St. Louis area and start all sort of trouble. Bulldog Bob Brown and Bruce Reed tie up. Reed forces Brown to the ropes. Why don't you break it up, complains Brown to referee Joe Tangaro. Brown's the only guy who can start an argument with himself, I think.
And get answers, too.
Yeah, that's the problem. Bulldog Bob Brown reaches out and then slaps Bruce Reed. Reed says, "You want a box?" Brown says, "I just slapped him. My hand was open," and he complains to Tangaro. Tangaro says, "Let's wrestle."
Five minutes left. 5 minutes.
5 minutes remain. It's most falls to curfew. Reed and Roberts against Brown and Anderson. Side headlock by Reed on the Bulldog. Reed yanks that head around and around and around. Here comes Jerry Roberts. Reed and Roberts tagging off very well. And Roberts bounces ahead of the Bulldog. Brown forced down to one knee by Jerry Roberts. Roberts twisting that head. You know, we've seen a couple of interesting tag team combinations today. One, of course, the Kelly twins, and Now 2 youngsters in Reed and Roberts. But how about that one coming up? Spike Huber and Dick the Bruiser together for the first time in St. Louis. Dick the Bruiser and his son-in-law. Spike Huber against a pair of guys who can break the scale, Buzz Tyler and Ox Baker. Buzz comes in around 323, Ox Baker at 308. Spike Huber's going to be the littlest guy in that ring, but I don't think it bothers Spike when it comes to fire and spunk and determination. Spike Huber gives nothing away to anyone. Spike Huber and Dick the Bruiser, father-in-law, son-in-law, together for the first time in St. Louis against Tyler and Baker. What a card that is, top to bottom. And, of course, everyone eligible for that Wrestle Royal. 16 of the 18 men on the lineup will be in the Wrestle Royal, all in the ring at once. The side headlock of Bruce Reed on Bulldog Bob Brown seems to be doing the job so far. There's a guy with a tremendous physique, Bruce Reed, a native of St. Joseph, Missouri. He's leaning over the top of Brown, trying to force Brown's shoulders down for a pin. Brown toying with the idea of grabbing the hair, but Tanguero slapped the hand away. Brown pulls the hair, Tanguero stops him. Reed still has the side headlock on the Bulldog. Here comes Jerry Roberts. Side headlock by Roberts. Worked for Reed, Roberts will try it. Remember, most falls to curfew. Whichever squad has the most falls when time expires will be the winner. Hey! Drop kick by Jerry Roberts. Pull that one out of the hat, and Anderson won't tag. That's not going to make Bulldog Bob Brown any too happy. Anderson wouldn't tag Bulldog Bob Brown. I think Anderson was a bit shook up by that drop kick from Jerry Roberts. He saw how quickly and easily Roberts took to the air. And Brown definitely has been thrown off balance. Brown and Roberts circle. Brown leans into Roberts against the ropes.
2 minutes left, 2 minutes.
Roberts leapfrogged over the top. Anderson again, refusing to tag Bulldog Bob Brown. Roberts offers to let Anderson into the ring. What's wrong with you? And Bulldog Bob Brown complains at Anderson. Anderson doing a lot of yelling, but no tagging. Bulldog Bob Brown must feel alone. Brown very cautious as he comes to grips with Roberts, then lashes out with a boot to the stomach and a punch to the cheek. Hard chop to Roberts. Bulldog can take care of himself. Don't kid yourself. Roberts reeling after that slash to the throat. Another chop, and down goes Jerry Roberts. Roberts slams headfirst into the top turnbuckle.
1 minute left, 1 minute.
Less than a minute remaining, no falls yet. Roberts reverses the whip. Drop kick by Jerry Roberts. This time Anderson makes the tag. Anderson crawling up on the ropes. The tag has been made. Anderson with the atomic drop misses. Anderson missed an atomic drop and hit Bulldog Brown. And Brown takes a kick at Tiny Anderson. Brown insisted. Anderson and Brown punches Tiny Anderson in the head. Anderson refused to tag, and then when he did, hit Brown with an atomic drop. Roberts and Reed just waiting. Brown lifts Anderson. Body slam by Bulldog Bob Brown, his own tag team partner. Roberts comes flying off the rope with a drop kick. Roberts covers Anderson. Count of 1, 2, and did he get it? Yes, 3. And Bulldog Bob Brown made no move to help Tiny Anderson for obvious reasons. Brown just stood aside. And if Mr. Anderson would like to square off again, Brown, it seems to be more than willing. Let's make it official. That's the only fall it's going to fit in the curfew. So Roberts and Reed win it. Here's Mickey.
With time running out, the winner of the only fall and the match, Jerry Roberts, Bruce Reed.